Well, what's going on, friends, family, and fellow resellers? I thought I'd just kick this off and see if anybody wanted to come in or show up. It's Thursday night. It's time to catch up. What people are doing and what people are not doing. So, let's see what happens. I hope everybody's having a good week. And hey, Pamela, how are you tonight? You want to come in here and talk? Hey, Chata. Hey, Jim Tar, there's a link if y'all want to come in. Just hanging out for a little while. Hey, Four-Eyed Hustler. Hey, Mother's Mustache. How are you? There's a link right above if you want to come in. Anybody wants to come in, just hit it and come on in. Oh, Lord have mercy. Anywho, hey, Bargain Shopping. Hey, Carol. Hit that link and come on in if you want to. Ansley can't hang around. She's got to go over and see Sister Fran for a little while. See what kind of voodoo they can conjure tonight. You know what? Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm doing great, Tom. Absolutely nothing to complain about. Good to hear that, Anthony. That's good to hear. Hope everybody else is doing good. Sorry, I had to look at something. I'm doing good. I've had a headache. I had a headache this morning or this afternoon, and it took me forever to get rid of it. Hey, Tara, how are you doing?
Pretty good.
Anyway,
hey, I found a shirt. I found a shirt for your nieces.
Pimp My Ride.
See what it is?
I see Pimp My Ride. That's all I can see.
Okay, I gotta raise it up.
Oh, okay.
What's that underneath it?
That's a horse.
Yeah.
How's things going with you today?
So how are you doing?
Now that I've got rid of my...
All right. I got a little bit of a cold.
I know it's been a sinus headache, and I had to deal with that all day long, and I pretty much slept. I took Roberta this morning for some doctor's appointments, and then I came home, and she worked from home today, and I slept, and I finally...
Yeah, Brandon brought home a cold from school, so I have that for the last couple days.
And Vanya, he had to go do some community, not community service, some service work as part of his continuing education, and so he went and worked at a food bank, and I had to go up and pick him up, and it's uptown, probably about 4 blocks away from the stadium where they're having a football game tonight. The Steelers are playing the...
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Pretty much in that, the day's gone by real slow. Hey, Swamp Picker, there's a link. There's a link. Yeah, how's Brandon doing? Okay with his cold?
It's gone already. He had it like last weekend, and it don't last real long. But he had it last weekend, and by Monday he was over it. He didn't miss any school, and then Jim got it slightly, and then of course I got it slightly. You know.
I saw the pictures of you at the horse show.
That's from Louisville, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. If you like horses, it's cool.
I don't like anything like that. It don't matter what the animals was. I used to go with my brother and his wife, and they were ring showing their Britneys, and I like to watch. I like to watch the people's what I like to do. But especially when their dog got. My sister-in-law Angie, she did the ring showing, and once she and the dog started really doing really well, and started moving on up the ladder, so you'd see all the other because after they did their bit, then I usually left. But once they started moving on up, and you get to see all the other dogs and their handlers, it really got.
Did they try to talk you into showing dogs with your two left feet?
No, they wanted me to buy one though, and Angie was going to show it.
Oh. Where's the two left feet from?
That's from Best of Show.
Let's see. That's one of my favorite movies.
Hey guys.
I gotta watch that movie again. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Hey Glenn.
Hey Glenn.
Hello.
Where's Jim at? I was gonna ask him if you were like the lady that was married to the guy with the two left feet. Every time you go to a horse show, some guy comes up and says, "Hey Tara, remember me?"
No, I've never had that happen.
Did you see my that little GIF I posted in Facebook for you?
No. Well, my internet's been kind of wonky, and like right now I'm listing in eBay, so I have StreamYard open, but I don't have a YouTube thing open or Facebook, and then it seems like my internet doesn't act up. Otherwise, like during the day-to-day, my internet's been kind of going in and out.
Right.
So it seems like if I close out pages, then it works better.
It's Charlie Brown holding Snoopy, and they're sitting in a big comfy chair, and he says, "Sometimes I just don't like to go out because it's too people-y out there."
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a good one.
And I saw that, and I thought of you.
How did you like that picture of Jim in the recliner?
Oh my God, that boy needs to go without his shirt.
He don't get tan on his chest, but remember last week I was saying, oh yeah, he's starting to sleep like an old guy, and like when an old guy's in the hospital, they're like, and their mouths open. That's how he sleeps. So that's why I took the picture. Anyway,
I'm thinking to myself, I'm saying, man, this boy better not get out in the sun like he's gonna burst into flames like a vampire.
Must be the Irish in him. Aren't Irish very fair skinned? Yeah, he said he's rocking that farmer's tan. He'll be white here and then real brown here on his arms. Yeah.
So how's things been with you, Glenn?
I'm doing good. I'm trying to pop out chat so I can see what everybody's saying while I'm looking at the actual live stream. All right.
Carol says horses are so majestic, and I could just pat them all day and hug them.
That horse show I took those pictures at, that's held at Freedom Hall up at the State Fair Park in Louisville. That's where they have all like the basketball games and stuff like that, and they're playing in Freedom Hall. That they set that up. That's where the horse show's set up.
Let's see what Carol was asking about, how my if I found anything. I'm gonna try to do a video in the next couple of days of all the stuff I found at Tennessee. At the flea markets and the bins and the garage sales.
How did you like the flea market there?
It was big, but they didn't really have nothing good. I bought one item.
Oh yeah.
That pair of size 14 New Balance shoes that were almost like brand new. Well, look brand new, maybe never worn, but the guy he had a huge, probably 50 by 50 lot area or whatever, maybe bigger than that.
Uh-huh.
That one of the bigger ones. But that's what I bought probably is the newest thing he had on the deal. You know, out of all the stuff, I mean, he was selling some junk. You know, but the shoes, he had 2 pairs of shoes side by side, and I saw those, but man, they were so white and blue. You know, it was like, you know, wearing blinders, you know, not to buy them. But you know, I went up there, they were like $6, went up there and offered him like 3. And he said no. I said 5, and he said no. I said, okay, you want your 6? Yes. No. So, but still, I mean, they're like brand new size 14. So I might make after fees $25, $30.
Yeah.
You know,
So is it so big you can't walk around the whole thing, or can you cover it?
It'd be a person that had a bad back or anything. It's pretty big, but they're gonna make a soccer complex out of it, you know, or stadium out of it. They're gonna move everything to another location.
Soccer.
Yeah, but a lot of vendors weren't even there. You know, a lot of empty spaces.
Oh, really? Soccer. Don't they know we live in America and we don't play
but it officially
soccer?
opened like at 8 o'clock. We got there around like 7:15. Scott and got there actually earlier. You know, they were buying stuff from people while they were opening the booth. You know.
Yeah.
Then I went to the bins for the first time. Me, Scott, and Harlan, and all that. So I didn't have my gloves with me and all that. I keep them in my truck usually when I go places and all that. But that's the first bins I've ever been to. I found some brand new Ford mud flaps, steel sealed.
Oh, nice.
Edition. I found 3 floor mats, like one floor mat for like a back of a Ford truck, you know, and then 3 individual floor mats. I couldn't find the 4th one for like a Ford Mustang or something, but it's like generic, you know. Where the other ones were actually GM products.
I love picking up floor mats, especially if they're in good condition.
Yeah, these were in good condition. I mean, these were like maybe like going to a car and somebody took them out and put something else.
Oh yeah.
Hey Deb, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Hey Deborah.
Bruh.
Bruh.
But even Scott said the garage sales were kind of on the slim side compared to normal.
Oh yeah.
Did you get assaulted by a little old lady at the bins?
Not too bad. People were pretty nice, you know, because I was kind of, you know, staying away. But some guys had their head in the bin and just throwing stuff like this and all that. And it was just going everywhere, you know. But, you know, you had a few good. Overall, 99% of people were good.
Good.
But if I went next year, I'd make sure I had my gloves with me, knew I'm out there I drive with, you know.
Tell you what, these ladies can be, they can be a little vicious around here if you get too close to their crap, you know.
But I would like to spend 2 or 3 hours. Because we only spent maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
Right.
You know,
Oh yeah.
Man, if you had a lot of time to spend like 3 or 4 hours, you could find some good stuff.
Well, there's people that stay there all day long.
Oh yeah.
There's one lady who's a regular at this one apparently because she has her own buggy and it's like bright pink.
Right.
And she's got a cooler that's mounted down in the bottom of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if I went out, I'd have a towel over it where you can maybe clamp it with some clamps. That way you can throw your stuff in there and that way people wouldn't dig in and steal it. But
yeah.
There's another place we have. It's called not Five Below. It's called Give Me 5. You know, I think Saturday start at 5, and Sunday goes. It keeps going down until Friday. It's 25 cents the product. But they say for actually Saturday, the $5 day is one of the busier days. The first couple hours when they open because all the good stuff is in there. And they say a lot of the Amazon returns go there. So if you're there early, you can get the good stuff, even at $5 a piece. But and then, like you said, Saturday, you can kind of make it on. I guess you could work on volume by buying stuff on 25 cents. You know,
right? Yeah, well, we've got one over near Spartanburg, South Carolina, and it's it starts at $5 and goes to free by Tuesday. Anything left is free, and they post on the website when there's nothing left.
Right.
How's your bite? Your dog bite? Is it doing better?
On Monday I went and got it. You know, they just put some. I'm using something different from honey. It's called silver or something. I'm not sure. It's some type of antibiotic.
Right.
You know, they stuff in there, and like I said, they cover it up and all that. I got to change it every few days, but it's healing up. After 3 months, you know, hopefully, you know.
And how's things been going with you, Deb? You've been just working?
Yep, working, making books, listing stuff.
That last one you just talked about, I think that would be a good one.
Oh, the one for the Christmas cards and writing like who sent it and their
Yeah.
address and mark off. My mom has like a she does like an index card box, and that's
Uh-huh.
what she does.
Are you going to be a nuisance tonight? I'm talking to her, not y'all.
Yeah, we bet. Well, Deb, I know there was an auction up there a few weeks ago where like Pat D's and a lot of those guys were at. Is that far from you where you were at, or
Oh, that was Bridget
more-
was at that one.
Yeah. That's at one side of the state. She's at the other side of
Okay.
Yeah,
she's
I'm
by the
about
city.
like 8 hours from Bridget.
Right.
Less than 8.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Bridget was at that one or not. I think she might have been at the
Yeah,
same.
she was.
She was at it, you know,
The one Pat was at with,
Camera and
yeah,
you know,
Yeah,
he did it live.
We
the
saw
no-name-
Bridget.
no-name picker, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if y'all saw the video from Saturday night, but we probably had at least 8 people on average in the room, but probably had over 15 in and out. That's the only place that had a place where we kept quiet. It was too noisy to do the live show that Pat did between 10 and 12. But we did it in my room. Me and Pat was in our room, but you're talking about it was getting loud in there. I was waiting for a call from downstairs, to say, hey, can y'all be quiet in there? We had Scott DeBear Picker, we had Pac-Man. For some reason, I thought Pac-Man was from the West Coast. He was there. So, I mean, he probably, between, up to 15 people came in and said hello and all that, and hung out in the room. We had Barry, Santa Claus Strickler there.
Back when I was young and I used to go to a lot of Star Trek conventions, we would,
Did you dress like a Klingon?
no, I did not. I did
'Cause
not.
I could totally see you dressing like Warp or something.
I did not dress as it. I did not dress up. We would have normally they would put all the people from the convention on the same hall or the same wing.
Mm.
Because what we do is we just open up the doors and there was bars in every one of the rooms and you just go from one room to the other. Well, this poor man and lady got stuck on our floor and he came over about 11:30 and said, "Could y'all mind holding it down a little bit? We're trying to sleep." And I said, "Sure." And he said, "What y'all drinking?" I said, I got a little bit of everything in here. And I said, "Help yourself." So about an hour and a half later, his wife came over and she said, "I was wondering what happened to you." He said, "Well, I was just talking to these fine people and having a drink." So he made her one, and they stayed probably another 45 minutes. And then by that time, it was getting late. And everybody, started going to the rooms and getting quiet for the night. But like I said, he came over, and his wife finally had to come looking for him, wondering what happened to him. Because I'm gonna tell you what, these geeks would spend some money on some liquor. Now, ouch, good liquor.
Yeah, we had a few of those, like to party and all that, but not too many. Overall, everybody's quiet.
He's got to do it He's got to do it in a different month.
Yeah, I think he's gonna try to do it different next year because some people's kids fail going to school and all that, or
Yeah.
Who was that?
Phil, that's the guy who
That Nashville makes me know.
they're going to try to do it different time where it's not falling on the same week of school or same month of school.
Yeah. Yes, it was the same. And like Brandon started school here the Wednesday before. Because I thought about coming down for Friday. But this school district here, they get out at 1:00 on Friday. Well, there's no way I could drive to Nashville, go check it out, walk around, and come back to pick up my kid. And then Saturday, I wanted to go to that up in Louisville.
Hey, Glenn. I can't connect. I can't get my Zoom to connect tonight. I'm gonna have to talk to them about that, or I'm gonna have to dump them.
Uh-oh.
Again, you're having problems?
Huh?
Again, you're having problems?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I've got to reset my computer up and just so that might be because I've got so much crap on it. It's probably got a conflict somewhere. I've got a laptop I just finished setting up, and I'm going to try it on it, see how if it's working all right. It might, like I said, it might be this computer because I've had this computer now for about 8 years.
Yeah, this,
And
one I got is pretty old. I mean, I don't think it's 8 years old, but it's probably getting close to 8 years old. I usually keep them about 10 years, too outdated,
I got it from Staples. It was it was $99.99. It was when they had it in clearance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Hey, that's what when I game, I use we got rid of it because nobody was using it. But I would use this thing. What is that thing called? I can never remember what this crap's called. Anyway, it's a virtual computer, and I would log into it, and all my computer was doing was streaming the video back to me.
Well, where's
So-
Maggie Doodle from? I noticed you're saying talking about an East Coast. They need to do an East Coast meetup. I think NASCAR man doing a meetup. I think next week, or next couple of weeks. He's going to try to have a meetup in this area.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A couple of these shows. He said I know.
Yeah, I think he's from like New Hampshire. Isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. But what's his name? Anthony, the wrestler guy, whatever. Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He's talking about.
Oh, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he's going up there to the meetup.
Well, we
That's
could.
cool.
Since Tara's and Jim's got that big spread up there in Kentucky now, we could all just show up there with tents and RVs and stuff like that, set up in our field.
She said no.
No. No. I have a
'Cause that'd
bridge
be-
on my driveway. It's too narrow and scary for you to drive across. I'll meet up with you, Tom, but you're not meeting me on my property. It's my private nesting domain.
She's afraid people are gonna steal all her little pretty all her statues.
Well,
Her art.
yeah, people start hauling off concrete statues.
That's
Yeah.
my unicorn.
That's what everybody would have to do is everybody would have to bring you a new piece of statuary.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Jim would love that. So I'll tell you a funny little story off top. Yesterday, I finally got it. I got mine like last week, but he got his yesterday because he had to find his birth certificate or whatever. So he's sitting in the house last night and he's looking at it. He's like, "Oh my god, they have him marked as a female." I'm like, "Get out of here!" They typoed him in as a female on his driver's license. So he had to go back. He had to go there today to the courthouse, get a new driver's license so that he could become a man again. Anyway, I'm like, yeah,
Hey.
people are gonna start thinking like, I don't know, you're transitioning or something.
He identifies as a woman.
He goes- yeah, he's like, I'd make one ugly woman. Anyway,
Yeah, he's gonna have to. After seeing that picture of him in the dadgum chair, he's gonna have to have a little.
yeah, you would not make an attractive woman. He'd have to definitely get some electrolysis or something.
Oh Lord, it's so it's a holiday weekend. Everybody got a lot of plans. Good plans for the weekend.
Are there any Florida?
No, I
any
have no
Florida
plan.
people in here? No, like I know that's supposed to be going to be a bad storm coming.
Yeah. Well, they're not sure whether.
Yeah, there's a hurricane coming.
Yes,
I have family in Florida.
You have a daughter down there, don't you?
I have
Or two daughters.
two. I have two and a granddaughter. But they're more new and like in the middle.
Closer to Georgia area.
Have they identified its path? Before they were saying any place between Miami and Myrtle Beach, South
It
Carolina,
looks like it's gonna kind of hit right in the middle of the state.
Florida.
Yeah,
Well, I looked at a trajectory today, and it looked like it was gonna go.
yeah. Well, I think,
Yeah, it was gonna like hit right across the middle.
I Well, they're talking about like north of Orlando, because at first they were saying it was going to be a little bit lower, and now they kind of made it higher, I think, or something, according to the weather maybe about an hour ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Yeah, and I looked at it like earlier in the day. It looked because Jim's parents live in Orlando, and it kind of looked like it was going to hit that area.
Yeah. My brother lives in, where does he live in? DeLand, which is not too far from Deltona, I think. And he works with like telecommunications with like cable and stuff.
Right.
So he can't really evacuate because he's gonna be working.
Well, normally they keep those guys in hotels, like in a safe area.
Yeah.
And sometimes they let him and the family with them or not, or they say, move the family and they stay. That way, as soon as they can get on the road, it's time to go through, they get them on the putting up telephone poles or whatever part of the communication gig they do, get them back online.
Do y'all hear my children cackling in the background?
A little bit.
Yeah.
He's
Oh boy, they're really going at it, Tom.
he's telling them to shut up in whatever language it is.
He's muting himself so we don't hear it.
Oh Lord, these
Did
kids.
you yell at them in their native language?
No, I just told them shut the hell up. Oh God. It's back when they had the last big hurricane that came into Orlando, they did this thing on the news about how Disney World preps. And as people are going out the gate at the end of that, like the day before, let's say they're expecting the hurricane to come in the morning. At the end of business day today, as they're hustling the people out the front gate, they're putting up plywood and taking down, signage and stuff like that. And by the time it passes, it's totally cleared Orlando. They've got everything opened back up. I just find that's amazing.
Yeah.
Liz, I'm not a party pooper. I'm 62 years old. I just, after a while, just don't. I like for it to start. It's 9:14. It's time for quiet time to start.
Yeah, I was kind of wanting that show it again real quick there. If you look in the back, I'm on my bed, whatever, it kind of caught back on the pillows, relaxing.
Yeah, she snuck in. I wish you would make a bend and go on up the coast. The prez is catching some flack because he said, let's try nuking it and see what happens.
Well, I think he bypassed like whatever Puerto Rico this time, so
Yeah.
I think he's gonna hit again. We're
Yeah.
gonna get a little of it.
I
That would kill that. If it went over again, that'd be they're still trying to recover from the last one. Hell, we're trying to recover from the flooding we had in 16 here. I mean, there's still houses in nice neighborhoods that are boarded up, with FEMA trailers in front of them.
I'm thinking about sending the my homeland security people from the island nation of Tom to Disney World and find out how they can turn that damn thing around so fast. Oh Lord. Yeah, my and then they were talking about that it could just do what?
Did you internet working?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
So I know you love.
Yes, I can hear you.
I know you're. Okay, I'm here.
I can hear you.
Do you know that roam around the park?
Yeah.
kill the rats and snakes and all that little stuff.
you hear-
Probably.
Yeah. I saw a video about that. Yeah.
I was there, and they're
You're
like
breaking up.
ushering him. He's like there's a cat there. They're quiet about it.
Well, they're not quiet about it now. They have a video on YouTube about it, which is cool.
Are you familiar with the rat thing, Tara? You heard of
Yeah,
the rat thing
rat
that
thing,
drawing
yep.
drag racing? You know the story behind that, huh?
No.
Why he came, about he despised
What
Mickey
is
Mouse,
it?
so he drew came out with a rat cartoon. I guess she's breaking up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, but the guy, well, that's the story I was told, said he despised Mickey
This
Mouse.
guy is kind of knockoff. It's a pink thing that's like.
Right.
I
Yeah, he
sell
had all
it.
kinds
I
of
think
different
he still
drag racing stuff.
has it.
Yeah, I found like 5 shirts at a garage sale, and like 3 of them went to other people that saw it on Facebook. Showing my haul, and everybody wanted them.
Those soap pods in it.
Don't eat them.
Number 12.
What's he doing up? It's 9:18. He should be in bed.
I know, but he's doing.
Oh, let him stay up. Let him stay up. Hey, Fat Man Flipper. Well, thank you for coming in.
Well, I just watched this video on Popeye's fried chicken. That was cool. I don't know if you saw it or not.
Mm-mm. Oh yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, he was standing in line and interviewing people, and then the guy comes out, "Hey, we're out."
I'll have to go look at that.
Yeah, I saw
But he
that.
said in 2 or 3 weeks he's going to show up and buy like at least 10 of them, maybe more, and hand them out for free.
I don't particularly care for Popeye's chicken.
Yeah, but it's making
Okay,
up. Are you?
So I just have to say how creepy that was. All of a sudden, like Tara got up to leave, and then it broke up so bad that all of a sudden she was just poof in her chair again.
Yeah, I know. Tara's not alive, really alive. She's
She
a
was
ghost.
drifting.
She's a reseller ghost. But like I said, I'm not really
on the computer.
making your child some money so he can eat.
My
But like I said, I'm just. Has it? You need to get them out here, get them out there to check on it. I think they got a loose connection somewhere.
Oh, anybody hitting any garage sales in the morning?
We don't have yard sales on Fridays.
Yeah, we don't either.
Who's the naked kid in the background?
No.
Boy, he's quick. Oh, there she goes
I
again.
might have lost her again. So, Fat Man the Flipper, are you going to go back in 2 or 3 weeks and do another video? And you do other like videos when I guess things come out, the Mac ribs at the McDonald's.
There's a link if you want to come in, Glenn. Fat Man, if you want to pop in.
I was gonna say Glenn's already.
I am in here. You kept saying,
I know.
well,
No, I meant Fat Man. If you wanted to come in, there was a
you actually done it twice already. I'm here.
yeah. I sent it to Craig. There's so many people that have Thursday night shows. You know, I'm like, screw it. I was here first.
Well, you know your faithful fans will be here for
Yes, I know.
Because there's only so much time in the day for it. Sometimes you got to do a show on your best friend's time slot, you know. So it's not like it's
Well, you know, it gives this one to me is just kind of gives everybody. I get a chance to catch up with everybody because my life has been just crazy the last month, and
I thought about doing one like 7 o'clock in the morning on my phone, but like I said, you know, I have to be there at work at 7 to do it. That's where all my stuff is at.
right.
But like I said, I got 3 garage sales I want to hit, so I can be at work for 8. So once it gets 8 o'clock, I can't do a live show because I'm working.
Right.
If
Yeah,
I could
like
do it without the telephone ringing, I would do it.
we first of all, we have to buy a permit to have a yard sale.
That's
We
crazy.
can only do 4 yard sales a year, and we just don't have yard sales on Fridays.
Well, I can't do it here. I live in an apartment, and I wouldn't do it at my work because it's too much in the hood. You know, as long as I'm selling like junk.
Right.
If I sell like a electronic, I don't want somebody knocking on my door during the week and say, "Hey, I bought this at your yard sale Saturday. Can I bring it back?" You know, it has to be the type I'd have to deal stuff I'd have to deal with.
Right.
I don't want to do that.
Anytime. Fat Man said, I'll come back in and jump in sometime soon. I appreciate the invite. Friday has never been a
I
yard
want to
sale
check
day.
out
Right?
yard sales here. No, I don't know about here. I want to check them out because I noticed the thrift stores aren't that good.
They got 3 7 o'clock ones, so like I said, I'll try to hit at least 2 of them and get to work for 8 o'clock.
Oh, there she goes again.
We have more on Saturdays.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we
Yeah.
have on Saturday and all that, but like I said,
We really don't have them on Sundays around here.
We have some. We have like on. We don't have just Sundays. It's usually like Saturday and Sunday, but it's mostly Saturdays, never Fridays.
Well, see, that's 2 $5 permits, and you've used 2 of your 4 days that you can have yard sales.
Yeah, a lot of times we don't have very seldom we have one on Sunday. Well, so every once in a while we just have a lone Sunday where I guess people work or something. And I have done lucky before going especially if it's early on Sunday, going on church, and if it's close by, I found some really good deals. But usually estate sales do their some of them do it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and some of them do it Friday. But some of the estate sales do the first day, and they'll do say today. I didn't see that, but from 4 o'clock to 7, they'll do wine and cheese and beer to get people in there, or do a band. One time when one of them did a band, in the front yard, or an individual kind of singing, playing the guitar. But
yeah, I went to a yard sale where it was a teenage boy and 4 other teenager boys. They had a country bluegrass kind of group, and so they got all their crap together and had a yard sale to help fund. They were going to some kind of competition, and I just happened to stop by there, and they were picking and singing, and their mamas were hustling stuff.
But sometimes, on some Sundays, last hour before they close down, they'll do fill a basket or fill a bag.
Right.
One time, for $5, and they had a big, not a VCR, something really big. And I say, hey, I can't get this in there, but will you charge maybe $2 for it? You could have had 20 on it or something.
Right.
We want it out of here.
The place that Vanya was doing the volunteering today, they have a lot of Walmart returns and things like that. And what they were doing, a lot of people were doing, was they were taking a black magic marker and they were swiping out the barcodes. And that way, because the person said, we know that people try to take these back to Walmart and get store returns. I mean, get store credit. So they started marking out the barcodes. And I'm thinking, well, that's they're giving this stuff to people who need it, and then they're trying to do that.
The return policy is a little question. You go outside and see a receipt on the ground, pick it up, go inside, find that item, and go up there to the customer service and say, "Hey, I just bought this. I don't like it. I changed my mind." And even if you get a store of credit, you're coming out ahead.
Well, I think they kind of caught on with that because now at the Walmarts I go to, if you got a return, they put a sticker on it when you bring it in the door.
Right. Well, I was somewhere, I don't know, Walmart, it was a different store. In the soft crimes, I think they staple the bag after you buy something.
Right.
So if you want to buy something else, you just you put it in another bag and they'll staple it again. And they had the receipt and they put like a highlight through it and all that or something.
Hey, this girl I know, she's a manager at a Family Dollar, and she just about gets into fist fights with people coming in there with like backpacks and stuff like that, and she tells them they have to leave them at the front. Well, I've got my phone and laptop in there. Somebody might steal it. She says, no, we're going to put it back behind the counter here. It'll be okay. I'm not doing it. She'll say, well, thank you for coming in the shop. We'll see you the next time you come in. And he says, are you throwing me out? She's like, I'm sorry. You either have to do what we ask you or you've got to leave. Because people will steal.
Well, they got people that steal so good. Sometimes they don't know it. They're stealing. You got people that just steal to steal.
Yeah.
It's not like, they'll sell a $1 item over a $100 item,
Well,
how to do it, like I said,
I did merchandising for a little while, and I did a bunch of Family Dollars, and one of the managers I did work for, when I'm like if I had to reset a section, if I found something like, product that was not in that area that was from like elsewhere in the store, I always would put it in a little basket and give it to her so they could put it back where it goes. But I would find like boxes of stuff that was open, and I would take it up to her and say, "Hey, I found this behind the rolls of paper towels." And she'd have to write it off. Anyway, she told me one day, she said, every month somebody comes in and they would take one feminine product out of a package. One. That's it. And she said, that would make me so, she said, it'd make me so mad. She said, because, if they came back, had to come back, they would open up another package. She said, if they need it that bad and can't afford it, she says, I would give them give it to them and then, pay for it.
Well, that's when you have to sign and say, we sell individuals up front, single packs.
Well, we have convenience stores in kind of like the dodgy areas that have like Marlboros one at a time.
Other place sell 1 and 2 cigarettes. If I had a hood store, I'd have them, like I said, sealed and, take like a 10 packs, put them in individual packs and sell them for $1 a piece versus selling a box for, 10.
Yeah.
So everything in singles, whether it's, anything you can sell for.
There's one store that I go to because they have a little kitchen and they have livers and onions and they're really good. So I stop when I'm on that side of town. I'll stop in there and they've got a coffee mug. They have coffee mugs up at the front of the store up by the cashier. And I don't remember how much the cigarettes are, but they're like $3 a piece.
Wow.
And a pack of Marlboros is about $7 here. And I asked her one time, I said, "Do you sell a lot of single cigarettes?" She says, "Oh yeah." Oh yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, wow. She says she makes a lot of that. Their store actually created a code on the register
Oh,
because
man.
they use the touch screen registers, you know.
Right.
They actually created a code for single cigarettes. I thought that was kind of crazy. But then again, you know, the price of cigarettes. I'm glad I don't smoke.
Yeah, I never did it. My dad smoked. I mean, from like time he was 6 years old to about 54 or so, or 52. But that's what basically killed him. You know, all kind of, you know, all the chemicals in him and all that
Right.
got to him.
My dad smoked for years. My mom and dad smoked.
Right.
And my mom just quit. She was these kind of people. She said, "I'm quitting. I just smoked the last one out of my pack. I quit." And she quit.
Well, that's what my dad
And
did.
she'd go like 8 years and not smoke. And then all of a sudden she'd have a cigarette. And I'd say, "What happened to you quitting?" She said, "Well, I just I just wanted a cigarette."
Right.
So
What?
she'd smoke a pack of cigarettes and then she'd quit for another 9 years.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what my dad did. You know, he worked at Exxon. He drove a lot of the trucks,
Right.
you know, the box vans and also the gas, you know, tankers. And also at the end, he worked in the yard. You know, he load the trucks when they come in, you know, check their paperwork and all that. But they had a stop smoking clinic over there and all that they were going to do and all that. And my dad said there's only one way to do it, and that's cold turkey. You know, I said some of these classes can help you, but so he proved them all and said he actually quit. You know, he had like a packet. He said, "Hey, when this last one's gone, that's my last one." But I guess about a year later, 2 years later, he got into smoking cigars. You know. And all that, but those little cheap cigars, and then you've done that maybe for a year or so, 2 years, and quit. You know,
My dad, every once in a while, he would smoke a cigar.
but
And
those cheap ones, you know, like
Well,
like cigarettes almost, you know.
Well, my dad would smoke the regular cigars, but
Yeah.
they were like from the from the gas station. They weren't like, you know,
Right.
the designer ones we have now.
Right.
And one day
What's
we were
your
going
sweets?
we were going someplace and he was wanting to smoke a cigar, and so my mom unwrapped it. She, you know, licked the sides of it, and he says, "You got to bite the end of it off." And she must have been about 2 inches off the end of the cigar. And he's like, "You know, you're supposed to just bite a little piece off the end of it." But because she didn't like him smoking cigars in the car, because you know they just. And I actually like the smell of a cigar better than I did the cigarettes.
Oh yeah, or he smoked these like backwoods ones, whatever, but it came like 10-pack. But those ain't stock, you know.
Yeah.
They're worse than cigarettes almost, as far as the smell.
I used to smoke. I quit in 2005, and I used to smoke Virginia Slims menthols.
You've come a long way, baby.
Yeah, I come a long way, baby.
I cannot believe I remember that. That's when they had the print ads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Mine
you know,
were the really long ones, so like the 100s. But I smoked like when I was in high school, and I went up to the roller rink, and I was in the girls' bathroom, and I said, "Does anyone have cigarettes?" Because the place that we usually got them from wasn't open yet. And someone said, "Yeah, I have some," and they had. It was either Marlboro menthol or Newports. I forgot what it was. And I've never had a menthol before. And I went outside and I went to have it. And I was like, holy shit, this is really cool. And yeah, so then I started smoking menthols.
When I
Do I
was in
sound
high
better?
school, I smoked menthol chick cigarettes. I don't remember, Bel Airs or something like that. And after a football game, because we'd go out to eat, people in the high school, or the band, or a group of people from the band, we'd go out to eat to like McDonald's or someplace like that, and then we'd stand out by the cars and talk for an hour and a half. And one of the girls, well, I didn't have any cigarettes, and somebody asked me for a cigarette, and I said, I don't have one. I don't have any. And one of the major reds said, I've got some. She pulled out a pack of Camels Unfiltered.
Oh my God.
And I said, you're more man than I am. She said, well, that's what my dad smoked. She said, that's what my dad smokes. And I would steal them from him. And finally, he got tired of me stealing the cigarettes. And he said, here's your pack of cigarettes. You need to learn to smoke these, or you don't smoke at all. Because if I need a cigarette, at least I can come to you and get one.
My grandmother used to smoke the Raleighs that had like no filter, so she was constantly going
Yeah.
the little tobacco out, and then she would collect. They had like the stamps or the coupons, so she'd have these books, and she'd collect them all, and she'd get us. So we'd have like all this stuff for Christmas.
Neither one of my grandmothers smoked, but my mother's mother, she dipped snuff.
Mm-hmm. Jim used to smoke the Camels with no filters.
I think my grandmother had smoked Pall Malls, I think, the one in the red pack, maybe. I remember those as a little kid.
You know, if you go on YouTube and you watch some of the, like they'll have the complete TV shows from like the early days of TV.
Oh, Carson smoked on when he did interviews.
Yeah. You know, and the commercials. You know, the commercials were like family orientated and stuff like that.
Baseball, I mean, everybody.
I was watching I like old black and white movies. I mean, like old ones. And I was watching one on YouTube, and this kid was sick, and you know, his mom and dad had called the doctor, and the doctor made a house call, and he checked him out, and he put all this stuff back in his little black bag and was standing at the foot of the bed and lit up a damn cigarette and was talking to the parents about, it's just a cold. He'll be okay in a couple of days. You know, just keep him in bed.
I remember
still.
I remember when I see that in movies, I kind of laugh because, like you said, you know, today, you know, a parent would kill the doctor if he pulled a cigarette out and did that.
And like the funny thing in the 70s was like, you know, you're like 8 years, well, I was 8 years old, and I would go like, my dad would say, hey, can you go up to the deli and get me some cigarettes? Sure, give me a $20 bill. I'll go up there and get him 2 packs. You can't send an 8-year-old to go get cigarettes.
No, my dad would mom would pull up to the front of the store, like a convenience store, and give us some money and say, go get me a pack of whatever it was she smoked.
I think I did that all the time. It would be actually a carton when my dad, he'd pull up and they could, you know, see him like just a pack of sacks and all that. And they would ask me, no, that's my dad out there right now. You're looking at him right there in that car right there. That's for him. And they sell them to you, you know.
When Jim was little, up in Eagle River, they have this World Championship Snowmobile Derby, and you'd have the school guys there handing out free tins of Skol. Mm-hmm. So when they were kids, they would get the free tins of Skol, and they'd be like, "Now you're getting this for your dad, right?" "Oh yes," you know.
And he knew more. You know, he knew better.
Well, how old were you when you started chewing?
10 years old.
He started chewing when he was 10.
Oh God!
And then he started smoking when he was like 18.
No, I started smoking cigars when I was 16.
Oh, you're smoking cigars.
And then I switched to cigarettes when I was 18. I got a girlfriend who smoked cigarettes, and she didn't like the way cigars smell.
Oh, he was smooth. He had a cigar.
Dutch Master Presidents by the box.
Dutch Masters. Oh,
you
man.
know, like, well, back in the 90s and all that, you know, a lot of your supercross races and even like dirt track and all that were sponsored by Camel. And, you know, you had, no matter who you was, you ran their decals. If you made the program or raced, you know, 'cause like one year I went, he was like 16, 17 years old. You had to put a core sticker on the front fender and a camel sticker on the front number plate or something like that. But so today that'd be unheard of, but I think maybe like 20 years ago they stopped all that. But back in the 90s, you went, if you're 16 years old, you ran a Coors decal on your bike, Coors Light and Camel. I had to put them on there. They give them to me, say, put these on there before you get on the track.
Some people I still know them, but they don't race anymore. They had dirt track cars.
Right.
And I mean, they were not what you call high dollar vehicles. They'd get to the junkyard and make one run, and these guys would come in, and like the beer distributors, the cigarette people, the Skull and whatnot, they'd give them a box of this stuff and just tell them to put the decals on their cars. And one of his sons was really good, and they started getting tires, and that would when you're in low dollar dirt track racing, when they start giving you tires, you've kind of made it. But they said it was really interesting to listen to them talk to. I mean, I went and watched them. Now, my friend's mother and sister would run in what they call powder puff races. And my friend said there was no way he would get out on that track in a car with all those women and girls, because he said they were vicious. He said they would slam into each other, not because they slipped, because they were getting in their way and they were going to move them out the way. And so, they said that they should have called it powder puff because there was nothing powder puff about it.
Well, right now, AMA dirt tracking, they got like two different classes: the elite and the regular below it.
Right.
And one of the top people in it right now is a girl. I mean, she's only like 100 pounds wet, but I mean, she's winning races and finishing the top 3, almost, top 5 every weekend. And like I said, at that level, you're going 100 plus miles an hour side by side and all that.
My brother and his he used to bass fish with a bass club, and they put on a big tournament every year on Lake Wylie, and it was all to raise money for underprivileged kids. So it always had it before he got out of fishing, because he just didn't have time for it anymore. It was doing really, really good. They have people from all over the Southeast driving to this tournament because they always had good prizes and stuff like that. And of course, the pot that you win is based on how many people were entered. But they would get a lot of people. They would call like beer distributors and stuff like that, and just say, "You got some T-shirts? You can put a sign out. You just got a bunch of T-shirts we can give out, or something to fill a goodie bag with, and that type of stuff." And they had people that come and fish that they just wanted the goodie bags because the goodie bags had such good stuff in it.
Yeah, one of my salesmen I used to deal with up in Minnesota, he was like national ice fishing champion. This is back like 90s or something like that. I'm not sure, in the 90s. But he did regular fishing too, and he said it was weird. A lot of times they'd send a corporate jet for him to pick him up to go fishing. So it was strange, he never was like the big, but he was big enough where, like people would send a corporate jet for him, pick him up, and bring him back to wherever the guy was at to go fishing.
Mr. Sadie said back when a soda bottle was worth a dime, I remember my brothers and I, when we were little, we'd go we'd walk down these certain roads.
Oh, I did that.
And pick up bottles and then take them to the 7-Eleven and get candy with it.
I had a little neighborhood, whatever. I mean, you're walking up and down the ditches, and you walk to the store, and hopefully you might get a nickel deal, and you might get only 25 cents, but you bought yourself a Coke, all the bottles you found, the 6-ounce bottle Coca-Cola bottles and other bottles. Most of them average 5, had a nickel on it, return for for cash.
Yeah, I got some liquor bottles up here I got listed. and they've got like 10 cents, you know, in
Right.
Nevada, Utah, it's like 10 cents, you know, return deposit on them. I'm thinking that's a $40 bottle of liquor,
Yeah.
or was a $40 bottle of liquor, and the return on it is only 10 cents.
Some of those old Jack Daniels bottles do good on eBay.
Yeah,
I mean, I sold like this summer some off-brand vodka bottles, and
right.
I'm getting like 20, $25 a bottle for them.
Yeah, that's what the kind of the price point. This last storage locker I bought, or it had a box of liquor bottles. God only knows why these people were keeping their liquor bottles, but they had a bunch of different styles, and I kept the ones that were worth something. The rest of them I trashed.
Yeah.
But I mean, they drank some expensive liquor.
I had I got it at an auction and I kept it. It was a liquor bottle. It was Foxhead, but I thought it was Foxhead Beer, which was an old beer company up in Wisconsin.
Right.
And I just had it around like in a cabinet for forever. So I'm like, you know what? Why don't we sell that bottle? I mean, I don't know why I'm keeping it or whatever. But what it would be like in a bar. It was refillable where they'd
Right.
refill it, and it was the back bar bottle. I sold that thing for like $200 or $250.
You know, we dated it. It was from the mid 1800s. It was like Civil War era.
I didn't know. I just got it at an auction. I'm
And
like,
it had-
oh, it's kind of cool. I put it on a shelf
It
for a
had
couple
gold
years.
leaf on the word Fox was layered in gold leaf, and we thought, you know, it's just like a decal or whatever. But when you look closely, you realize it's etched, and it was actual gold leaf. And the thing was we dated it was from the mid 1800s. And you would take that bottle in the back of the tavern and go fill it up with whiskey from the keg, and then put it on the back of the bar. And then when somebody comes in and says, "Give me whiskey," you pull the bottle off the bar, but that ain't where the whiskey didn't come shipped in that bottle.
Right.
You got shipped in a keg, and you would the distributor of the whiskey would give you these decanters to put on your back of your bar to serve it.
Cool.
That's really
Yeah, and I had it setting in my living room for like, I don't know, before I met Jim. So I know it was there for like 10 years or something.
It was way back in a corner behind a bunch of knickknacks.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, let's just sell it anyway.
That's like on the road show, the antique road show. This woman brought in this little dish and this ashtray, and the guy's like, you know, looks at it. And he says, "You know how much it's worth?" And she said, "I don't know, $50." And he said, "No, it's worth $10,000." And she said, "Oh my God." She says, "We've been using that thing for an ashtray for like 25 years." Because
Yeah.
they just thought it was some knickknack that their grandmother had picked up somewhere. Yeah, Mr. Sadie, I remember when a small boy could have a profitable business operation off of picking up bottles off the side of the road.
We'll encourage you to recycle.
We didn't care nothing about recycling. We cared about
Yeah,
the
you were
10
getting
cents.
money for it though, and nothing to do. But it did make people recycle their glass when they're
Yeah.
getting money for it. If you think about it.
We didn't care about that. We cared about the dime or
Well,
nickel
back
we
then
got
it
off
was
of it.
reused.
Yeah,
They
true
wouldn't
that.
wash it. It costs the soda company money to make whatever company, the beer company or whatever, money to make that bottle. So they were saving money by you bringing it back.
Yeah. Yeah, that was back when you got a cold Pepsi or cold Coca-Cola. Man, that baby would be cold. That glass would get cold. Good
Remember when they went to all the disposable glass and they gave you this line of crap that it costs less for us to make a whole new bottle than it does to wash the old bottle for the return. That's such a load of baloney. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder the American public if they think we eat lead paint or something. I mean, the stuff they try to tell you and make you try to believe is just fascinating. I was a little kid when they were doing that. I'm like, I know that's not true. I know if you wash a water glass, that's cheaper than throwing the water glass on the floor, breaking it into a million pieces, sweeping up in a dustpan, and taking it to some glass recycling place where they melt it down and make a new glass. As a little kid, I could figure that out.
I just think it's like I said, we had a profitable operation going, especially going down to the golf course.
Hey,
There was a
Mike.
golf course near. Because the beer bottles are the same thing. You know, you recycle those too. And these old guys going to the golf course must start drinking beer at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and as they're just toss the beer bottle out the damn window.
Hey,
But
Mike.
but like I said, my brothers and I and Craig Lester and Earl Stansberry, Mitch and David Slauson, we all palled around together. We would my younger brother, my older brother didn't. My older brother's
Mike.
5 years older than I am. But we'd go hit a damn ditch, you know, a roads, and we would be picking up those bottles, and then we'd take them and sell them, and then we would divvy it up amongst everybody, you know. Sometimes it was cheaper to just buy a bag of candy than it was to buy the 2-cent pieces of candy, which I know most of y'all don't remember 2-cent penny candy.
I do.
2-cent penny candy.
Oh, when I was a kid, where I was born, we had a penny candy store there. I mean, you didn't have very many of them, but there was one there yet.
I know, like 2 cents. You can buy like the Hershey Kisses for like 3 cents or 2 cents.
Yeah. Yeah, I know this guy that's got a gumball route, and he's got the machines that has the little toys in them and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a couple. He said he thought he would just try it. He found really tiny, small gumballs, and he's got like 4 machines that are a penny a piece.
The chiclet machines, I remember the little round ball, the little
Yeah,
and spring loaded. You put a penny in that, and
and he says he keeps those. He has to keep those things filled because he said, you know, people who've got a penny in their pocket, they'll get them a piece of gum, and he said he'd like to have 100 of those things because he said for the amount of time he spends, he his rate of return is a lot better.
yeah, it's probably better than those little toy machines, you know, or
Yeah,
you charge 25 cents.
they Deb probably knows what I'm talking about, but in Japan they have gotcha machines, and they'll have a whole store as nothing but these machines. And what they don't have candy in them. They have like anime figures or like, you know, X-Men or those kind of figures.
Yeah, I saw that on a YouTube video once. That was cool.
These stores are huge,
Yeah.
and people will pay the equivalent of $1 a pop for these things.
Yeah.
And because they've got the bacon, they need the egg. You know, it's all plastic, but they have breakfast. They have like toast and juice, little glasses of plastic juice, and they're just crazy about this stuff.
Yeah. People love their miniatures.
That's the word I was looking for, miniatures.
Yep.
Is this like that miniature cooking stuff they do, or is this just plastic food?
It's toys.
Oh,
It's toys. Everything in there is toys. But even grown adults collect this stuff. Like the one I watched, Deb, there was a lady that had, she had all this little miniature furniture on her desk at work that she got out of those machines. And they buy and sell them.
Yeah, I had gone
Give me
to
a glass of tea,
a
please.
local flea market here, and I had gotten like a whole bunch of the miniature dogs and animals. And inside of like 2 months, I put them on Etsy. I still have a few left, but like they were gone. People love to collect those little things.
It's
And
something.
even my grandmother had them. My grandmother raised Cocker Spaniels, and she collected a lot of the dog figurines. And I have some of hers. But I mean, she had this whole it was like in the wall bookcase, and it had like all of these different dogs. And then she had started horses too, so she had a few of those.
My niece collects. It's one of the it's a collectible horse. The the little ones.
The
Uh,
Briar,
I don't know what the brand is, but she has a bunch of them, and
Peter Stones.
she gets them from shit.
She gets them from shit.
No, I
Ew.
closed up my screen. I
I
thought
don't think I
I
want
Are
any
they
of those.
plastic?
I don't want
thought
any of those knick-knack horses made of poop.
I thought I had just kicked everybody out.
Are they plastic?
Yeah, they're plastic ones,
So they're
but
probably
some of them have like
Briar.
a furry feel to them.
Oh, a furry feel. I don't think any of the Briars were furry.
No,
Well, some of the Peter Stones, I think they're putting real hair on for the mane and tail,
Over the main.
and then you'll have like some people like will redesign a Briar where they go through and take and like repaint it, and they'll put realistic hair on it and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So
They have the kits where you can paint them colors too.
yeah, I mean this is like super like people are super like artisty, not like crafty painting. I mean, they're like redoing it to specifically meet with a breed standard or maybe look like their own horse or I don't know what the hell they do.
These are single people or people who are in bad relationships.
you know,
You talking about painting. You ever watch Paul Cam too?
Oh no, I can't say that I have.
I know he takes tennis shoes and repurposes them, and he'll paint them up, and they look like better in like the factory. But he took a old suitcase. This last I saw yesterday, a plain blue suitcase. He painted Mickey Mouse doing a surfboard, riding a surfboard, and they look like something you buy at the store. I mean, you look at it. I don't know if you ever saw any of his videos, but he's like a hip hop person,
right?
loud and dropping a couple of words here and there. Earrings and all that, but I mean, he took that suitcase and repurposed it. And man, you probably, I don't know, you get $100 for it, probably the way it was. Easy,
Did you off subject? Well, kind of the model horse thing with the Briars. Do you know that they have like Briar horse shows where people set up like this scene or diorama with their Briar horse and with like the dolls riding it and everything, and they
Yeah.
get
No,
judged on it? Oh
I
yeah,
heard
it's
about
huge.
that.
It's like its own circuit of Briar horse showing. It's
Wow.
insane. And they like get like registration papers for them because in the old days you used to be able to like say send $1 to Susie who has this Briar horse, and then they're gonna do up a registration paper for you. Like that Briar statue is the sire of your Briar horse, which I know it sounds totally crazy, but I'm not kidding.
My-
So it's like fantasy football, except it's fantasy
Yeah, with
horse
horses.
breeding.
Yeah.
So basically, it's fantasy
My,
horse sex.
my
That's-
cousin in the 70s and probably maybe even the 60s, I guess, she collected Briar horses and she had tons of them. And when I would go over there and visit, that was like the first thing I would do is beeline into her room to go play with the horses. And like once in a while, she let me have one. So I think I had like 4 or 5 of them. And then my brothers decided that they were going to put like nail polish on them. They were
Oh no, they ruined them.
yes. So my mom was like, "Oh, well, just take nail polish remover and it'll remove it." Yeah, it removed everything on those.
Oh yeah, the
paint,
finish,
everything.
yeah.
But I had the Clydesdale, I had the Thoroughbred, the brown one, and
Yeah.
then I had the 3. I think they were the Pintos, but they were the black and white. I had the mother, the father, and the baby.
Oh yeah, the family set.
Yeah.
I
And
still-
they were the regular size. They weren't like the small.
Yeah, the traditional. I
Mhm.
still have my Briars. I was talking about selling them, but I packed them up and moved them down. But I probably have about, I don't know, 100 of them now, I think.
Maybe
a little
over
more.
your house, Tara, playing with them.
No, nobody plays with them. I got
brothers.
Yeah, I have. Then I started like when at the end I'd buy them, but I wouldn't take them out of the box or anything.
Oh my
Nah,
God,
I was like, oh, Jim, I should start just selling those Briar horses. Why am I keeping them? And then I just didn't have the heart to sell them yet.
She had this one horse that I loved, and she would not let me have it. And it was a Native American horse, and it had the handprint of
Oh yeah,
paint on the butt,
yeah.
and then it had the blanket, which the blanket was actually felt real, and it was a beautiful horse, and it was bigger than the Breyer, so I don't think it was a Breyer, but she would not let me have that horse.
Oh yeah.
Every
Um,
time, can I have that
Give her
horse?
credit for letting you play with them because that's how like ears get chipped off of that. Usually they just sit on a shelf and nobody touches them.
Oh, I play very carefully with them because I love them. And she had a horse, a real horse, Mister. I have a picture I think somewhere of either me on him or her. I think it's her. But yeah.
Karen at the beach said, Tara, don't sell your Breyer horses. It took you a long time to collect them.
Yeah, don't.
I don't buy them anymore. I have not bought. I mean, sometimes if I'm at an auction and one goes cheap, I'll buy it. And now I've been just selling ones I buy. So I'm not. It's not something. I don't have a good place to display them. They're packed up yet, and I'm like, I should probably just sell them. And they're not something boys are into either. So I mean, I can't see Brandon going, "Oh, I'm going to play with my ponies today," or whatever.
No, he's probably thinking someday that's going to pay for my Corvette.
Well, you never know. He might go to get his driver's license and become a female. Then he'll be playing with it.
That's right. That's right.
Jim became a female, but then he decided to go back to being a man.
I get home, I'm looking at the new driver's license. I'm like, yeah, this is a good looking driver's license. I'm reading down the thing, all of a sudden going down to sex, it says F. I'm like, what the hell? She put me down my voting registration, I was a female, and my driver's license. But then I went back and got changed. But we're walking out of the courthouse. Here you do it by the county. The county's in charge of driver's licenses. I'm walking out. And I'm thinking, oh my god, I could have been eligible for an SBA loan. I should have stayed a woman.
Yeah, Tara tried telling us that story before. That was funny.
I'd make one ugly girl, I could tell you that.
Oh, we've already discussed that too.
Well, you see me with my shirt off. There ain't nothing to write home about.
But you know what is amazing? Roberta likes to watch RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah, well, Jim ain't one of those kind of ladies.
Let me finish. You know, these are okay looking guys, but by the time they finish putting on the Bondo and the spackling compound and the Krylon paint, they make some good looking women. And
Okay, Tom.
huh?
Oh boy, Tom, are you?
No, I'm just telling you. I'm
Like
just saying that it's amazing. It's amazing that these people can. Well, our pastor of our church a long time ago, he said you can make any old barn look good with a coat of paint.
Oh my God, I thought you were going to say your pastor used to be a drag queen, and I was
No.
like, what church are you going
Church,
to?
what's happening now?
Yeah. Boy, that's an open-minded church.
progressive.
Yeah.
No, he'd say you can make any old barn look good with a coat of paint.
I watched a black TV reverend. I just happened to be playing, and he was a younger guy. And this was probably back in the 70s or 80s. I was young, and when there was nothing on TV. We only had like 3 or 4 channels. And I was flipping through, and it was this black pastor giving a sermon, and he was talking about his wife, and he says, "Yeah, sometimes people criticize, or make comments about my wife because she wears makeup." He goes, "But I own a house. I painted my house. Why can't I have a wife that wants to put a little paint on her face?"
It's the same thing. You can make an old house look good with a coat of paint.
Oh, you remember Tony K. Baker?
And I know
Yeah.
I'm going to start getting the thumbs down on that one because that's sexist.
Oh,
Maggie's
boy.
over there she's probably out there leading a revolt now. But have y'all seen Toy Story 2? That's the one where Woody gets kidnapped.
Yeah,
And
it's where the girl with the horse comes into the storyline.
Right. And there's the little old man that comes in. The little old man that comes in and he like touches up Woody's paint and that kind of stuff. There's a guy on YouTube that actually does that for not for his own stuff. He gets paid for these people that have their collectible toys and stuff like that to touch them up to put them back into pristine shape.
Toy Story 2 has one of my favorite lines in it, and I say it even now. Like, if somebody was being shitty, you know, like, let's say somebody's being sort of shitty to you, I'll be like, I'll go to Jim, I'm like, they are Stinky Pete.
Oh, my favorite line on that one is where he says it's like, I don't know, that might be, it's either 2. No, I think it is 2. Where the guy's, he's going to make that sail to Japan. He's like, it's like printing my own.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one, too.
That reminds me.
Oh, yeah, and it's Newman. It's the guy that's in Jurassic Park and
Yeah.
Seinfeld, which I forgot the actor's name, but.
What you calls in that same movie? What's his name? Plays the badass, the black guy.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah, he's in that
What
movie.
character is he in there?
He's in with Newman.
Yeah, Newman and Samuel L. Jackson are on the same
They were all on the computers.
on the
And,
computers and all that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, are you talking about Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
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 Oh, okay, because I'm like, I don't remember.
Yeah, we're
where-
still in Toy Story.
we were still in Toy Story. I'm like, where was
I'm
we?
like, oh, man, Samuel L. Jackson was in Toy Story? And I missed that.
Yeah, I like him in Jurassic Park. He's always got that cigarette hanging out of his mouth.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys heard this story, but when he was in the Star Wars in the prequel series, he made a comment. He says, "Hey, why don't you give a brother a different color lightsaber? You know, give me like a purple or something." And he just said it. He didn't think he'd do anything. He's like, "They'll do whatever they." When he sat down, he watched the premiere. He saw the movie. All of a sudden, his lightsaber came out as purple. He's like, "Oh my god, they gave him that purple." So that's why my toothbrush. I always pick when we get a pack of toothbrushes. I always pick the purple one.
Samuel L. Jackson wannabe.
Yep.
Some friends of mine were out in California and they went to Disney World, Disneyland, and my friend is a bit of a Star Wars geek, and his wife let him. Now he's the same age I am. His wife let him buy a $200 lightsaber because you pick out the pieces you want, you put them together and whatnot.
Yeah.
He said that damn thing quit working before he even got back to shore.
Yeah. They had those $200 ones at GameStop, but I mean, in the end, it's still a plastic lightsaber.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was like a lightsaber that actually lit up, like, you know, like whatever that beam is, then I'd be like, oh yeah,
You didn't have no problem running the shock baton.
yeah, but I got it on clearance.
Oh God,
He got a shot.
Yeah, you know that
that
riot
was a piece of
baton.
plastic too. I'm
Yeah,
like,
but
oh my
it's
God.
not. It's different.
It
You
wasn't
know
that
the
cheap
riot
on
baton
clearance
in The
either.
Force Awakens, where that guy takes that thing and he snaps it, and it like spins in a circle. I
Right.
bought one when it was on clearance at GameStop.
Well, they got karate competitions, you know, like with the swords and all that. There's some way they integrated like the lightsaber type effect into it, you know. I saw it on Facebook
Yeah.
or something like that. And it was like a real Star Wars movie. But it was,
Yeah.
you know, this was real combat, you know, competition combat, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
When I got that
single
bad
sword.
knee, though, I might fall down and pop it out of place.
Did you
In my
see?
younger days, I'd have did it.
It was, it's been 100 years ago, but there was a video of this little chubby boy, teenager, and they called him the Star Wars kid or something like that.
Oh, dude, yeah.
First, when he was actually doing it, he had like a long shaft, but when they touched it up, he had a lightsaber. And he was furious about them doing that because they were making fun of him.
Yeah, he wound up filing suit and won something.
Yeah,
But that's
They
what started with the cyberbullying. That I don't know.
I would have rode that damn thing I'd have made some money off of it somehow or another.
I mean, he looks goofy, but
I don't think I've ever seen it.
I've seen people look a lot worse. I don't know why the guy was so upset, but I don't know.
I mean, okay, I know for a fact that back in the 90s, Star Trek people were getting paid like $5,000 and $10,000 to show up for a convention for a day and talk for an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy knew he ran a convention company, and and that's what they would. Even the minor characters would get like 5,000. The middle of the range would get like 10, and if you wanted Shatner or somebody like that, it cost you 20, 25.
Oh yeah, a lot of these guys hate Shatner.
Oh yeah.
Because he gets so much more than they do with like those things or whatever. I mean,
He's a Shaft.
oh yeah, no, they don't like it.
He is James T. Kirk. But anyway, I thought to myself, no wonder these people ride this. Like there was one girl, she was booked up for like 10 consecutive weekends doing conventions. And she got paid like $7,000. That's a lot of jack and they pay all your expenses. They fly you in and fly you out, pay for your hotel accommodations and everything.
But some of those guys didn't get residuals. Back then, they didn't pay you residuals on TV. So, now that, depending on the shows and all that,
Probably
they
so.
get to show up and get paid
Probably so.
showing up.
I'm sorry. I was being spoken to.
Well, back in the day, like I said, some of the shows, I'm not sure it's Star Trek, but, they didn't get residuals. A lot of those guys, didn't get a dime. But now they, if it was a good TV show like Star Trek, they're getting paid money for these show ups for conventions where they might not getting paid nothing, how many times it plays on TV, it was on their contract back then,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't. I think it was like in the early 70s before they started getting residuals off of that stuff.
Well, Star Trek originally, when it came out, it didn't last, 6 weeks or, on TV?
The original Star Trek?
Yeah, when
it was like
the original.
It was like 2 years.
And they like a couple of years, they all of a sudden became like, a cult type, TV
Right.
stuff. And you saw it was on every day almost,
They were doing good. Now NBC had them, and they were doing well. Except the problem was I can't remember what show was that replaced them. Just had better ratings, so they're like, "Oh, we're just gonna bump it for the better show."
They went up
But
against.
here's a little trivia for you. Did you know William Shatner shows saddlebred horses?
I knew he had some kind of horses. I didn't know that he.
I remember
Yeah,
he had a little race, like a
He had
ranch.
quite a big farm up here in Kentucky, but then when he got divorced from his second, I think it's his second wife, unless it was his third, I think he sold it now.
I remember when they were doing an interview of him, and he was like, like a farm type house he had, and we were showing all his horses and all that.
I didn't see him in Louisville on Saturday. Usually you see him there showing on Saturday, but I didn't see him in any classes this year.
Didn't one of his wives drown in his pool?
Yeah, is that his first wife or his second wife?
I don't know.
I think there was a second one. I don't remember.
Because then he was married to that Marcy, I don't know if her name was like Lafayette or something like that.
Yeah.
They did all the breeding of horses together and stuff like that. And then they got divorced. And now he's married to a woman that's quite a bit younger than him that used to be an assistant trainer, but now she's just a regular amateur horse rider. Because, well, why do you got to train? He's got enough money to buy you any good horse you want.
Thank you, Maggie. Whatever it takes for you to think of me. And Mr. Sadie, what have you seen 37 times?
I think Toy Story or maybe
Jurassic Park.
Right.
I was never really a really big classic series Star Trek watcher. I liked.
I used to go to Star Trek conventions and dress like a Klingon.
Nah, I never did that. I like Next Generation because they were cool.
Yeah, I like the classic.
Well, back in the 80s, they came out with the original crew on the new Star Trek movies.
Oh my God!
I didn't like the movies.
When that first movie came out, it's like, will this damn thing never end?
Well, I think it was the second one, the Wrath of Khan, whenever they took the guy from Fantasy Island, was in the one of the original Star Trek in the 60s.
Yeah, he was the original Khan.
Yeah, and they brought him back for the original movie.
Yeah, that was Ricardo Montalban.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a great scene where he's kicking him in the face. He goes, "I have had enough of you. Or no, that might be the next one. That might not be Khan. Does Khan come back in another movie?
No.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he said they're on the edge of like this snow covered. They're in some prison or something like that. He's kicking Khan in the face. He's kicking Ricardo Montalban in the face. And he's going, I have had enough of you. And then the last kick kicks him off the cliff or whatever. That's a good one. You gotta love the shit.
Yeah, you do. And you know what? People talk about his acting and whatnot. He's the greatest captain that ever flew a starship. But he's had so many successful TV shows.
Oh man, T.J. Hooker, he had that, you know.
T.J. Hooker was huge.
Yeah.
Was huge.
Oh,
As our
they had
president.
Heather Locklear, or what's her name? One.
Yeah, that was
Yeah. Heather Locklear. She was hot in her younger days.
Oh man, yeah. Tell me about it.
Yeah, he had
She
911.
was smoking.
Yeah. But I mean,
I bought the DVD for it. What's that Iowa show that he had?
it's,
Actually, it was really
Invasion Iowa.
Invasion Iowa. We had just bought the DVD for it. Actually, it was pretty good. It didn't really do much on TV, I don't think, but it was a pretty good show.
It was a reality show where they go to Iowa and they tell all these
Like the
farmers.
hometown of Kurt, wherever that is in Iowa.
right.
The hometown of Kurt.
So they tell the people in this town they're going to do a movie there, a alien movie,
I gotta go pull my
and it's all fake. They're not really doing the movie, but they're just acting. They're doing ridiculous stuff and having these people interact with them, and they think they're going to make this movie. And anyway, then at the end of the reality show, then they all find out that it's a gag or whatever. But
Right.
Oh, did y'all see that last show he did? William Shatner was him, George Foreman, Terry Bradshaw. Who else? Henry Winkler and somebody else.
what?
They're traveling in Europe and doing stupid, crazy stuff. You know that?
Oh,
They're all playing themselves, I guess they might be real friends all in life, I think, most of them. That's why they maybe picked them all. It was like a 5-series TV show or something like that.
I didn't see that one.
oh, I didn't. Do you remember what it's called?
No, I'm not sure. They play themselves, so it's like George Foreman, like I said, Bradshaw, and all of them goofing off in Europe, going like, Germany and Italy and all that, and just goofing off, going in a restaurant and dressing up in lederhosen or different things,
Mr. Sadie, at least with all those granddaughters you got, they're not coming up during the High School Musical age. Because my friend of mine's got 4 granddaughters, and they would come over and spend the weekend, all of them together. And he and his wife only had sons. So when they got up to the age where they High School Musical movies came out, that's what they wanted to watch on the weekend. Because Grandpa's got a big 9x6 movie screen. He said he heard those suckers so many times that he'd be driving down the road and they wouldn't have the radio on in the car. He'd start humming songs from just, not even paying any attention to it. He would start humming songs from the movies. And his wife would say, Janine would say, you know what you're singing, aren't you? And he's like, no. And she's like, you're singing such and such a song from High School Musical. And he's like, oh, we got to quit watching that kind of.
Oh boy. Yeah, Jim's brothers, he has all daughters, and they were
nieces.
into High School Musical.
You were talking about mentioned reality show. It's been a bunch of years ago on, I don't remember what channel it was. It was probably Spike. They had this reality show. It was like something Joe. Ordinary Joe or something like that. And the whole show was about this guy had been invited to be on in this reality show, and whoever won got like $50,000. And they moved into this, this mansion and all this kind of stuff. Well, everybody, all the other contestants, everybody was part of the staff of the production company except this one guy. And
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
And it, and the other people, I mean, after being together for days on end, they would start getting attached to him, and they were constantly lying. Their background stories were lies. Everything was lies, and they started feeling bad about keep telling him these lies.
Yeah.
And there was one time between him and another contestant about to be sent home, and the other person got sent home, and they were real buddy in the house, and he started crying, and he's like, "No, send me home. I'm going home. Let him stay." And the producers, because they've got cameras back there where the producers are at, just like they do on any of these reality shows. The producers were losing their mind. They're like, "No, we gotta stop this, because if he walked off,
Yeah, it's the end of the show.
and it, they went all the way through the show, and of course he always won, and or he was always safe. And then at the very end of it, when they told him that he had won the money and all this kind of stuff, and then they told him that it was all a setup, that he had been, everybody was staff. None of these people were who they said they were. It kind of backfired on him, because he was really upset about it. Not because, he was just upset because they had lied to him, and he thought he had built relationships with a couple of the people on the show, and everything they had been saying to him was a lie. But it was a great show, because things would happen, like the case where he said, "I'll go home instead of that other person." The producers just would lose their mind, because, like Jim said, that would be the end of the show.
That show, that one that Tara was talking about, that Invasion Iowa, the same thing happens. They have a guy, when they come clean and they say, "Okay, it was just a joke. There isn't really going to be a movie." Oh, there's a guy who was livid. He thought he was going to have a movie career. I mean, this guy couldn't act his way out of a wet paper bag. He was horrible, but they tell him, "Oh yeah, you're doing a great job." And he really thought he was something. And he's like, "I told all my friends I was going to be in a movie. Now you've humiliated me, and everybody lied to me." And then Shatner's got to try to calm him down. It was kind of fun to watch, because how people, you don't know how a person's going to react. This guy freaked out.
I don't know what channel the show was on. It was like one of those DVDs we bought
It was like Lifetime or something. No, it wasn't Lifetime. We never watched that.
You watched Lifetime without me.
No.
Oh my God, the Chick Channel. That's what they have in the waiting room at the courthouse when you pull jury duty, and you have a waiting room. That's what they have playing all day long.
Wow.
When Jim's first wife left him, she found a new boyfriend. One of the things she liked about her new boyfriend is they'd sit and watch Lifetime movies together while they ate Haagen-Dazs.
Haagen-Dazs on the couch. I'm like, "You go, girl." You're backing it up.
He's always like, "I lost my man," or I don't know. What's that one you always? It's always like,
"I want my baby back."
Oh yeah, I want my baby back.
Mother, may I sleep with danger? Oh yeah, they got some real good. It's like after school special for grown-ups. Oh, the other one, the one my mom likes to watch, the Hallmark Channel.
Oh,
and when my dad was like, after he had his he had a heart surgery, went south, and he had a stroke.
And he used to watch always Fox News, and Jim's mom got it in her head that Fox News, from the stress of watching too much Fox News, that's what had hurt his heart. So then she only wanted to put these passive shows on, like Hallmark Christmas Channel. And she left. She had me sitting there with him, and she left to go to town. And he's like, "Give me the remote. I will put on Fox News." I'm like, "Now, Jim, Diane said no. It gets you too worked up and stressed out." He goes, "If I gotta watch another one of these Hallmark movies, I'm gonna die."
Yeah, because he couldn't get around. He couldn't get away. She had him trapped.
No remote. She wouldn't give him the remote or anything. Stop watching all these sappy Hallmark movies.
We were on jury duty, and for some reason or another, normally we pull jury duty for one day. That's all you do it one day. Somehow or another, we got pulled, and we were going to be there all week long unless they sent you home. and we watched the Hallmark. I mean, we watched Lifetime,
Oh,
and they pulled a jury, and one of the guys, this big old black guy, he was sitting there watching it because everybody was watching it, and he was so mad because it was like 15 minutes to the end of this movie.
oh my God.
And he's like, somebody better watch this show and tell me how it ended. And he looked at the bailiff and he said, and somebody's going to jail. He said, whether they're guilty or not, somebody's going to jail because I missed the end of my movie. And I thought to myself, well, that's going to get you off of a trial.
Well, guys, I'm gonna take off. I got to get up early for work. So,
All right.
no,
It's only-
Okay, Glenn.
It's only 9:30 your time, Glenn.
I know that, but I get up at 6. You know, I got 3 garage sales I got to hit before I go to work.
Let me get my violin out and play it a little bit for you. I get up at 5 every morning. That's the reason I'm so give out by this time.
Yeah, but if I make a mistake, if I send like an engine to somebody, it's the wrong part. But that little 10-cent circlip,
Yeah.
you can come back on me.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy somebody an engine because I'm sleeping.
People get bitchy about getting the wrong part.
Well, I caught myself before. All the time I'll put a part in the box and all that, and I'll start looking at the tickets, and it'd be in transit. And I said, "Hey, that little bearing, whatever I'm sitting in, don't put it in the bike." You know,
Oh,
I got another one on the way for you. You know,
My dad, we had this auto parts place that we bought all our parts from, and every once in a while we'd have to switch out a thermostat in a truck or something like that. And it got bad that every time we went down there to get a part, it didn't fit.
Right.
You know, it would be like for a Honda Prius instead of a F-250, you know, that kind of stuff. And my dad finally, he said, "What is going on down here?" And they're like, "What?" And Dad said, "For the last few parts I've gotten the wrong part." And they had a couple of young guys in there that weren't paying attention to what it was. Because once they got rid of them or got them straightened out, then it was okay.
well, so many of the things we have, you know, like these, we've got 10-digit part numbers, and it could be 10 items, the same number, except every number, you know, every 10-digit number has one number that's different.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
So you go by remembering, go, I'll pull this, and you start looking at the ticket, the invoice you sent somebody, say, "Oops, I made a mistake," and you call them. You know.
But you know, you need to get modernized, Glenn. You get your computer system now that you can just scan it and go, "Yep, that's the right one."
You don't have all that scanning, everything still look up books, or a lot of people call you, so I need this part here, and they don't even give you the part number and all that. So you got to look it all up and this and that. And hopefully they know what your model bike they have. I got people come to my shop, say, "Yeah, I got a 125 and all that," and they say, you know, and say, everything I buy never fits. So you don't have any pictures of the engine or anything, and you show it to me. "Oh yeah, you got a 200 or 250. That's why that piston just drops right through that bike." Yeah, it's funny. I bought 33 or 4 of them, you know, but the guy who I bought the bike from told me it was a 125, you know.
I had a Yamaha 125. Had the best fun with it.
Mm.
It was like a $20 motorcycle.
Yeah, you got a couple of zeros to it now. I mean, a good bike costs you $8,000.
Oh no!
More than
This
$9,000.
we took that sucker apart and put it back together. Not the engine part, but everything else because it had been sitting up so long. The
Mhm.
dirt daubers had just about built a complete.
Oh, yeah.
The spokes and the rims it look solid because the dirt
Oh, yeah.
daubers had just constantly filled it in. You know what dirt daubers are, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
I know you do. I figured you would since
Yeah,
you're
that's what it's called, mud
I got a
daubers.
couple of my brick wall out there in my apartment, you know, they can build a little nest.
Yeah. Do you want Tara?
Don't you call them mud daubers?
I don't. Some people might, but we call them
Yeah.
dirt daubers.
Dirt down here.
In Wisconsin, they're called mud daubers.
Right. You got mud bugs, you know, and crawfish. Well, I'll let everybody go.
Fish.
All right. Have a good night, Glenn.
Good night, Glenn.
Did you move into the living room, Tara?
Yeah, because the internet's better in here.
She's like in the big comfy chair.
I know. I'm surprised she hadn't got.
She looks so tiny.
I'm not
That's-
sitting up straight.
I'm surprised you don't have her a desk
So,
in there.
Summer was saying in the chat that all she sees is a white wall on her phone. She doesn't even see you, Tara. Wave to Summer.
So are you starting to feel like you're at home now?
I better because I don't have any other phone.
Well, she just said something in Kentucky we have, and I'm like, what are you talking about Kentucky? We're in Wisconsin. I'm like, oh, no, wait, we are in Kentucky.
I gotta do like I want to paint this. You see, this is like this peach color. I hate it. I gotta paint this room, and I haven't done that yet. So I got some stuff I want to do.
Oh, Craig wants to come in. He's saying knock knock.
Oh, sorry, Craig. I wasn't paying attention. I was looking at.
That's all right. I'm used to being ignored.
I was looking. Oh my God! Don't
Dad
you start.
said-
Do not start that Maggie crap with me now, Craig. Maggie, I'll pop into a room, into a show, in the audience, and I won't see Maggie I don't see her, and then the next thing I know, she's doing hateful little messages in there about, well, Tom, I'm glad to see you too, and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, Maggie, I didn't mean it. I didn't see you. So you need to get off of that right now.
That's all right.
I saw him knocking. So.
Thank you. That's what executive producers do.
She's worth
Did
everything.
you go to Nashville, Craig?
Do what?
Did you go to Nashville?
I did not. My son just started school and it just didn't
Oh
work.
yeah. That was here too.
I think a lot of people have that issue.
Maybe they're talking about doing it earlier next time they do it.
That's a hard time in the summer. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, do it
Yeah.
in September or something.
Yeah, that's what Glenn was saying, that they were going to try and do it earlier.
I don't know if you saw my my message earlier, Tara. It's so different seeing you somewhere besides that office you've been in for so long.
I know.
I know,
I'm not
yeah.
actually really set up here. I don't even have my desktop set up yet. This is all I've been working on is my laptop. I don't even have my desktop set up.
Nice.
Well, you said you had to get some money coming in, or Jim was going to have to go get a job. So
You don't work. You make me go to work.
I hear body parts sell pretty well.
Yeah. I wish I had some.
I'm not going to go there.
Jim will put himself out in stud fee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure the ladies would be lined up for that.
Well, you could use that picture of him asleep in that chair as his promo on it.
Balding 54-year-old man. Yeah, that's what they're looking
You
for.
better shove some $100 bills in my shorts, or I'm not gonna have any takers.
Yeah.
with the
That's what I mean.
with the t-shirt tan.
Oh, I know. Jim, you need to be careful. Somebody's going to try to drive a stake through your heart.
Yeah, I don't go outside much without a shirt on.
Get out of that.
How's things been going with you, Craig? You staying busy?
I'm trying. I can't complain. Should do it.
How's your eBay sales going?
Had one shipped out today. That's it. Nothing big. I got plenty of stuff I need to be listing. I just had a hard time getting started with it. I
don't have to go nowhere tomorrow, so I'm going to start listing. And Roberta will be working from home, so I'm going to start listing, and I'm going to make a concentrated effort on getting a bunch of stuff listed tomorrow.
listing. Is that what you call it?
Yeah, listing.
But
I got to get some stuff done. Roxy, would you please move your butt out the way?
We'll throw something on that's real jazzy. We'll find something that we had, we never got around to listing, and we'll list it, and it'll sell. But like your basic inventory, your stuff that usually you sell and stuff, I found that's been really slow. Yeah, you got to dig to find something good to get something to move with these folks. They're really, it's like fish when they don't want to bite. You know, you got to like really just about cram the bait in their mouth before you can get them to, clamp on.
How many times have we got to throw the line out there and not catch something before I give up?
That's what it seems like right now. That's kind of, yeah, it's doable. I mean, but you're gonna hump it a little harder than normal. For us at least.
Well, when we were in Nassau a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to a lady. Actually, was buying some stuff from her, and I said, "Are you? Y'all stay real busy all the time?" She says, "Well, we're getting ready to hit our slow period." And I said, "When's that?" And she said, "September." I said, "Why is that?" And she said, "The U.S. kids are going back to school, and we have a lot of hurricanes threatening."
Not a lot of cruises come through.
And I really didn't think that they ever had slow periods, because the day we were there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big ass cruise ships there.
What boat did y'all go on?
We went on the Carnival Sunshine.
I hadn't been on the Sunshine. I think the last one we went on was the Fascination.
Right. The Sunshine used to be the Triumph.
Okay, I think I remember that name.
And they did a $200 million refit on it, getting it modernized and everything, and rebranded it.
Did y'all get away from the port where it's all not as touristy on any of your stops?
No, I just went. I went in. Roberta didn't even leave the ship. I went in and did some gift shopping, and then I went back to the ship.
Where'd y'all? What ports did y'all hit?
We just went to Nassau. It was Charleston, day at sea, Nassau, another day at sea, and then back to Charleston. It was a real low key. We wanted to find out how it worked going out of Charleston.
Yeah, we don't have anything close. Mobile is our closest, and that's 3.5 hours. And typically the ones out of Mobile aren't as good as the ones that leave out of like Jacksonville and Tampa and all that, and further south.
Well, the Sunshine also has a cruise that they go to Bermuda, and they also do a 7-day one where you've got like 2 days at sea, and then you hit like St. Kitts, St. Thomas, St. John, all of those, and then they like cruise back in a day.
Right.
So
I've thought about taking one of the ones that I don't remember what they call them, but you don't even hit any ports. You got like a 3 or 5 day just out on the sea.
Cruise to nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does be fun because whenever we go and you get these ports, you're always in a hurry to get out and do things, and it's hard to relax a lot of times.
And everything is so pricey. These excursions, short excursions are, $150 a pop. And if you have a family of 5, that runs up $1,000 real fast. Like
we've been lucky. Any cruise we've gone on, I get along really well with my in-laws, and we've always gone with them. But it's always just been adults,
right? So
the kids don't go.
Well, you need to go on one and take your boy with you. He'll have a good time because they got the kids clubs and stuff like that, so that keeps them entertained.
Yeah. True.
I mean, we were talking to a couple, and it's got like 3 or 4 kids. They had 4 kids, and they said that's other than going to like Disney World or an amusement park, that's been the best vacations because the kids can do what they want to while they're at sea. They all have to get together at night for dinner in the dining room, but during the day they're doing stuff with their respective clubs because they have like elementary kids, middle school kids, and high schoolers. They have 3 different clubs for them.
Yeah. The problem we have with a family of 5 is we'd have to get 2 rooms.
Yeah.
With two adult daughters, and the little one could probably stay with us, but.
Yeah, some people that I follow on they're YouTubers. They do a lot of cruising. They have a son that's actually their son. They have twin sons, and one of their sons was like 15. He slept on the sofa bed in their room.
Yeah,
and then they had an older son, and then they had a couple of nephews, and they all stayed in the adjoining room.
Jamie Rumpstump, we're talking about you. I hope you don't mind. I'm just kidding.
You know you're my favorite, Maggie. You're my favorite child.
You should have went and saw the swimming pigs when you were over there.
If you talk much more about cruises, you're gonna make me hungry, because I know that's about all I do when I go is I eat.
Oh my God.
And it's so good.
We were, and I've got a video that's coming out about our stateroom we were in. We were on, we had a balcony on deck 7 at the back of the ship. And 2 floors up, you walk down the hallway and jump in an elevator and go up 2 floors to deck 9. And that's where the Lido deck was at with the buffet. So it was always convenient to go up there and get a cone of ice cream, or
They make it too easy to eat.
yeah.
Outside the cost of the room, I eat my money's worth. No,
Especially when you go into the dining room.
Yeah.
Because it's you know, it's, when we took the boys a couple of years ago. We actually went to Tampa, went out of Tampa, and went to Mexico. The boys were like, well, like Viney's like, I'd like to try the escargot, but I'd like to try the frog legs too. And so the waiter would say, I'll bring you one of each.
Yeah.
And then Sasha would want, so he'd want a couple of different hors d'oeuvres, and I mean they'll feed you, or they have no problems with it. Carnival has the very best. And I've had it at all kinds of places and high dollar restaurants. But Carnival has the best chocolate lava cake.
oh for sure.
I mean, like I said, I've had that other places. Theirs is the best. It makes sitting through the rest of the meal worth it.
It's sad. I've got to go back and log into Carnival. I was trying to remember some of the boats we've been. We were on the Fascination. We went on in 2011. We went on the Legend in 2012. I've got more than that. Where else did we go? I don't know why it's only showing 2. I thought we'd been on more than that. I can't believe it's been 7 years. Wow.
Yeah, Roberta went with her sister and mother, or the ladies in her family. They went for 7 days, and then years ago she went on a cruise with some girlfriends, and so she's ahead of me as far as nights, but she's a gold card holder, so she gets all kinds of little extra perks.
Gold, you get appreciation drink.
Yeah.
Pen. Complimentary 1 liter bottle of water. That's about a $30 value.
That's right. That's right.
Good grief.
Yeah, we bought I think we bought one of the drink cards when we went the last time.
The adult or the soda one?
I think we got the soda one.
Because the adult one, the mixed drinks, they limit you to 15 drinks a day now.
Yeah.
They limit you to 15 drinks a day.
And most people are buying those cards would use up 15 in like 3 seconds.
There were people sitting down to eat breakfast and they'd have a beer in their hand. And I'm thinking, I hope these dudes have not been to bed yet. They're getting ready to go to bed.
Yeah.
I mean, no. That's just too much. That's just too much.
We brought our own, but rather inconspicuously.
We took sodas on board. We took a couple cases of sodas.
Well, you
12
can
packs.
get one case per person.
Yeah.
Can't be opened.
Yeah, you can't. They have to be in cans. They can't be in bottles.
Right. Which I'm surprised they let you bring anything on.
Well, some of the lines, we'll let you bring, or you can also bring on Carnival. You can bring a bottle of wine on per
That would be-
person.
That would be a waste for me.
I took one bottle and I didn't even open it. I left it for our steward. But some of them you can bring beer on.
Huh.
And then some of them, soft drinks are included in it.
Right. Our first one, we went on Royal Caribbean. Our first one.
Right.
That was back in. Got married in '92. It's probably '94, '95. If I had to guess. It was different. It was fun though.
They're all fun. Like the Norwegian one I went on, which was out of we flew to California, went out to Ensenada, Mexico, and we went down to Catalina Island. It was different. It was more of a slow-paced old people's cruise.
Right.
But it also might have been because there's so many Californians on it, and that was just like a weekend getting away from them because it was real cheap. It was a real cheap cruise. Tori, y'all going down to California this year? I mean, not California, to Florida.
Oh, I don't know. We probably should try to get down there. I don't know if we'll do it before the new year.
At least
Well,
you're closer now.
They have that fall break, like
Right.
in October. They have like a week off of school, and but I don't know. I don't have a good spot set up for the dogs yet. I want to build a kennel so I can just have my friend come over and check on everything because I hate boarding 3 dogs for a week.
Right.
I mean, that'd probably be, I don't know, it's got to be $30, $40 a day, huh?
Right.
Maybe more. So I don't know. We should. But maybe it won't be till that. Brandon really wants to go. He hasn't been there. Usually we go every 2 years, but now it's been 3 years because of this.
Right.
So I don't know. We gotta figure it out. No definite plan.
It's such a long ways.
Hey, I'm halfway there.
Or quite half the distance we used to be.
Yeah, we used to drive from where I lived in Wisconsin. We drive straight through, not stop at a hotel. It's 24 hours from when we left our door in Wisconsin till we pulled in the door in Kissimmee. And now we'd be like 12 hours away. Well, I could drive 12 hours standing on my head. That ain't nothing.
I've got some friends. They like Disney, and their kids like Disney, and they'll leave Friday during the summer. They'll leave Friday morning and drive to Disney, and do Disney on Saturday and Sunday. Well, they buy annual passes, so when they get down there, they'll go directly into the park, and then Monday morning they get up and they drive back. It's about 8 hours from here.
Not ain't bad. Yeah, I mean, I can leave at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I could be in Kissimmee at 8 o'clock at night.
Right.
Which isn't bad.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Our drive. I mean, we did it a lot, but the older I get, the more I'm like, oh man, this is really hard to do.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I hate to tell you, Tara, or I hate to tell you, Jim, but if we were to go someplace a long distance driving, if I have to pay for the hotel room, so I will. We're going to be stopping. Jim, if you don't want to sleep in the hotel room with Tara, then you're just going to have to sleep in the car.
You better let Jim drive so he can just drive you straight through.
Yeah, that would involve stopping.
And
You don't stop to go out to eat. You don't stop to go to a hotel room. You could go to the bathroom at a gas station and maybe buy yourself a snack at a gas station. Or
Jimmy,
if it's like a fast food restaurant at the gas station.
Jim, you just got to let that go, son.
You ain't gonna eat no Cracker Barrel with you, I can tell you that.
I'll tell you what. I swear, every time I drive by a Cracker Barrel, I think
Hey, that's what you get when you fire my mom.
Yeah.
That's family.
Should she have been fired? Probably. but it doesn't matter.
Doesn't
Still
matter to
gotta
me.
boycott it.
Do
Don't make-
you has anybody been fired from IHOP? Because I like IHOP too.
No, I've never been in one.
I haven't been in one in a long time. They
You've
had
never been to an IHOP, Jim?
I've never been in an IHOP, and I've never been in a Waffle House.
you ate at Waffle House.
Hello?
Then how do you know you don't like it?
Because that almost got mugged from those guys coming out of the
Well, that
mug.
has nothing to do with the food in the Waffle House.
Well, they feed muggers.
He almost got
Oh,
mugged in Florida. After these guys came out of the Waffle House to come try and mug him.
Well, they were so high, I don't know if they knew what the hell they were doing, but the one guy had a rag wrapped around his head like in cartoons, you know, when a guy's got a toothache.
Oh, like tied her on the top.
Yeah,
of
like
his head.
Marley from Scrooge. He had a rag tied around his head that had blood. It looked like he'd been punched in the face or something, but he had two other guys with him. So I watch him coming from the Waffle House, coming towards where I'm talking to the gas station guy who's behind the bulletproof glass. It's about 11:30 at night in Orlando. The two dudes disappear around behind the gas station, but then he comes straight towards us. And he's like trying to engage me in conversation, my brother, and I'm trying to buy Fix-A-Flat because my car's got a flat tire. That's why I stopped there at a Speedway. And I go reach in my pocket for the wallet. The guy's got the can of Fix-A-Flat. He looks at me. I reach for my wallet, and the attendant guy behind the glass, I remember he's a tall red-haired guy, just looks at me, just slowly nods his head no, like, don't do it, kid. I'm like, so I take my hand away from my wallet, I just back away from the glass, and the guy just nods his head yes, like you're doing the right thing. So I go to my brother, I go, Sean, let's get the hell out of here. Because now the guy is trying to yank on the door, the guy with the rag over his head, because he's trying to get in there. These guys are like, oh, let me in, it's an emergency. He's blasted on something. Well, next thing you know, as me and my brother are getting back towards the car, here comes his two buddies coming around the other side of the garage. They're gonna they're gonna pin us. They're trying to get on both sides of us. So I got in the car. My brother's still asking questions. I'm starting to drive away. He's opening up the door as the car is rolling. He's like, Jim, what about the flat tire? I go, we're getting the F out of here, you moron. We're about to get robbed. So anyway. So my brother did get in the car, and he's still alive today.
Now, when you go to a Waffle House, you don't expect Michelin quality food, okay?
I ate at one up in Lexington. Honestly, it wasn't bad, and it was cheap.
It's not bad. I've never had any food that I would consider bad.
It reminds me of a George Webb. They have those in southern Wisconsin. They're kind of like a cheap breakfast, and then
Right.
they also do like hamburgers, but it's like a cheap place to go eat.
So is it like a choke and puke?
Sure.
They're that way because most people are eating it at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Well, when it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you gotta load on. Anything's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In 95, we were going to Australia, me and Roberta and our friends Chris and Sandy. And we were leaving real early in the morning because we had like a 7 o'clock flight out of Charlotte. There was we wanted some breakfast. There was no place open. So I said, hey, let's go to the Waffle House. And let's have an adventure. Let's go to the Waffle House. So we go in there, and the waitress is real nice, and she has all her teeth.
That's always a plus.
What do I need a tip?
Then it's a counter, and then there's the cooking grill on the back wall. So anyway, there's a guy back there. He's cooking, and we get our food and we eat. And now we were getting ready to pay up. And I don't know what he said to her, but it was a fight.
Oh boy.
So we just kind of like, we just put our money. I handed the girl it was $30. Like $25. I handed her $30, and we got the hell out of there. Well, while we were sitting there, the police comes up, and you can look through the window and see that waitress and that fry cook going at it. They were and they were not yelling at each other; they were fighting. So then the rest of the trip was boring because we went to the airport, got on a flight, and flew to Sydney.
Yeah.
But we started that vacation off with a bang.
Well, I want to ask you, Tom.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause you're in Carolinas. Like, when you go to a gas station there, do you get like where people hit you up trying to get you to buy their gas?
Every once in a while.
Oh, because every time, like when I go to Florida, when I come down out of Tennessee and cross the Georgia line, whenever you stop for gas, if I stop for gas in Georgia or like Florida, I always, at least once or twice, get hit up, bro, can you buy me my gas and stuff? Which, like up in the upper Midwest, I mean, I just never encountered that before.
And if you're one of those people and you're listening right now, I'm not gonna buy your gas.
Oh, we did get hit up in Indiana. A guy tried to get some money out of Jim. But that's the first time that far north we ever had that happen.
We just have so many panhandlers around here.
Yeah.
And all of the interstate, when you're doing the off ramps for all the interstates, they are sitting up there with their little signs. At the Walmarts, they're all, their families sitting out there. And I know one of the managers of one of the Walmarts really well, and I said, "Look, dude," I said, this is getting out of hand. And he's like, "What?" I said, "Every time I come into your store or drive into the parking lot, there's people out at the entrance wanting money." And he's like, "I thought I had put a stop to that." And then I really felt bad because he probably called the law on them.
Yeah.
And you just don't know whether these people are legit or not.
Yeah, well, odds are they're not. I hate to say it. And it makes me feel bad because if there is somebody who really needs help, they ain't gonna get help because they're just gonna assume they're another one of these panhandlers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, something's up when, like, you're talking about gas and they say, "Can you give me $5 for some gas?" I say, "No, because I don't carry cash, but if you pull your car over here, I'll be glad to put some in it." "No, that's okay."
That's usually a quick way. And if they ask for food, come on out. Let's go to McDonald's. Go through the drive-thru. I'll get you something.
Yeah, let's walk right over there, And they usually say, "Well, I don't like that."
Maybe I encounter it because I got out of state plates, so maybe they hit you up because you're out of state.
It's a numbers game. It's like real estate.
Yeah.
When you do enough cold calls, you do enough for sale by owners, you're going to get a listing. Well, you hit up enough people, whether they're tourists or local, you hit up enough, you're going to get a softie.
Yeah.
Well, Southerners know that the Yankees are hard to get along with. So it's,
Funny. I get along with everybody.
but you're a Southerner now, so it's okay.
Yeah, but I still sound like a Yankee when I talk.
Just don't say Wisconsin.
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 A Yankee. That's anybody north of Huntsville, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Depending on where you stand in Kentucky's are Yankees too.
Yep.
Well, if
She's
that's
a Southerner, but I told her we're hillbillies.
Yeah, we're more hillbilly than Southerner.
You gotta say coffee to be a
coffee.
Coffee. Yeah.
coffee.
You gotta. It's coffee, right? Coffee.
Oh my God, that reminds me of that Saturday Night Live skit with Mike Myers with the coffee talk.
Yeah.
Clip.
Oh yeah.
I think the worst accent I've heard, and it's a guy I'm pretty close with, is Derek, NASCAR man 3345. He's from Rhode Island, and he's got a really strong accent.
Oh boy.
I love to hear our Carol talk.
Yeah, she's got a good East Coast accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does.
That's at Massachusetts.
Yeah, she packs a car. I love to hear her talk.
The car.
And see, Deb doesn't. I guess she lived in Florida long enough that maybe she got rid of some of her Yankee
I think
accent.
a little bit of that New York accent.
My accent. It was funny when I first came back a couple years ago. It had that New York accent, but there was like a Southern twang to some stuff.
Wow. I'm trying to imagine that in New York with a Southern twang.
I lived in Charleston, South Carolina till I was 13 years old. And then we moved to Rock Hill, which is in upstate South Carolina. And I had a very strong Charleston accent. We have a boat in the yard, and It's 8 o'clock. I want something done right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Anyway, I'm in the 7th grade, and I'm moving to this town that's it might as well be on the other side of the country. And I had this Mrs. Gaither. She was a black math teacher, and she would make me get up and explain questions just because she liked to hear me talk. But that was like moving. That was like moving to another part of the world, because my mom was a stay-at-home mom. All the mothers around her were stay-at-home moms. So after the kids went off to school, they would get together for coffee, and maybe go get their hair done and stuff like that. And then when we moved to Rock Hill, everybody worked, and everybody worked in textile mills. And I'm not saying anything about textile mills. But everybody worked for textile mills. And I mean, everybody. There was not any stay-at-home moms around us. And she hated it. But now it's home, because they've lived here since 1970. So it's home now, and they wouldn't think about living anyplace else. But my mom cried every day for the first 2 weeks we lived up here.
Oh.
Well, I have a great aunt who lives in. Well, she was living. I think she lives in North Carolina. She's gone back and forth from North Carolina to South Carolina. She's lived in Charleston before, and she has a very thick accent. And then I have another great aunt who lives in Georgia. And then I have my second cousins, and they're from Massachusetts, but they're living in Maine, and they have a very thick accent like Carol's. It's funny because they'll sit there and say, "Oh, God damn it." Or like my cousin's name is Bobby, and his wife is Lorraine, and she'll sit there and say Bobby.
Bobby.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like the Kennedys.
Yeah. It was funny because me and my brother Chris were up there visiting. This was years ago, and their son Kevin was like, "Oh yeah, something's wrong with my car alarm." And my brother Chris was like, "What's an alarm?" And he goes, "A car alarm."
When I hear stuff like that, I always want to say, "How do you spell that?"
Yeah.
I'm just saying that in general. I'm not.
I have a friend that he was sent to England to work for a year. And I mean, he had family. His kids were like 8, 10, and 12, something like that. Anyway, they were going to be gone for at least a year. Could go out longer. So they went over there, and they ended up staying 3 years all total. But they came home for like 2 weeks the first summer after they had gone over there, and their kids had picked up the British accent so fast. They all had this little British accent going on, and the grandfather's like, "Where the hell are you from?"
I just kind of wonder if Brandon's gonna pick up a little bit of that Kentucky accent.
Oh, he will, because he's gonna be around these kids every day,
Yep.
all day long. He's gonna sound like
He likes the school a lot here. Anyway.
Good.
He told me a story. They had one of these like a fire drill, but it's an active shooter drill. Okay, so they're going through what would happen if there's an active shooter at the school or whatever. And so the teacher must be trying to get the kids all to be quiet. So she's like, "I can tell you this."
No, as a man teacher.
Oh, as a man teacher, I'll tell you this: if any of you are not being quiet and there is a school shooter here, I'm not going to risk 25 lives for your one. I will throw you out in the hallway. And, I'm like, oh boy, because like
that's the way we roll down here.
Yeah, it was up north. They never would say that. Like I always called it the safety circle. Like if you had a kid freaking out, let's say you had a kid on the ground having a temper tantrum, totally freaking out, they couldn't touch the kid at all. They could grab him by his sleeve and take him in the principal's office. They'd stand around the kid in a circle and then call the kid's parents to come and get the kid because the kid was freaking out. But yeah, Brandon's like, oh, here they'll take you by the arm right to the principal's office.
We used to have a kid in what grade was I in? I think it was like fourth grade. Was it fourth or fifth grade? And he would have he had epilepsy, and he'd have epilepsy attacks. And it's one of our health teachers. Maybe it was fifth grade. I think it was fifth grade. And our health teacher taught us that as soon as he started to have a fit, that we were to make sure that he was down on the ground and that he was on his side, and we would make sure like to put like a pencil in his mouth to make sure that he didn't bite down on his tongue, because he would do that sometimes. And it was here we are, these little kids sitting here next to our friend, making sure he was okay and doing the right things.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's we have it's been a couple of years ago, but we had a high school security guy sling a student across the room in her desk because she wouldn't give up her damn cell phone and wouldn't follow directions.
Oh yeah.
We don't play that shit down here.
Brandon falls right into it because actually he's a pretty straight-laced kid and pretty well disciplined. I mean, he just falls right in line with it. He don't buck the system.
See, we never got into trouble at school because we knew that when we got home, what trouble we got into school was going to be nothing to what we got at home.
Yeah.
Because our dad was like, I'm off earning a living. Your job is to be doing your schoolwork. I should not be harassed because you're not behaving at school.
Yeah.
So we did not. I'm not that we were not like goody kids. We were just scared for our lives. So, that's what it was. But I was in the third grade, and I got whacked with a dadgum ruler by my teacher one time because I forgot my pencil.
Oh yeah.
They had rulers when you were in school?
Oh yeah. It's okay because we only had on the periodic chart of elements, we only had 12 numbers on it when I was in high school.
Nice.
So it was easy to learn it. Now there's 56 or something.
I don't know. I picked some up the other day and looked at it with my son. I'm like, what are all these crazy names I've never seen?
It's like you weren't afraid of like getting in trouble by the teacher. You were afraid of your dad.
Yeah, that's the deal.
The thing was, wait till your dad gets home. Or my mom would sit there and actually, like, if I wanted to go do something she didn't want me to do, she'd say, "Go ask your father." And I knew that was going to be a definite no.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the way things were back then.
Yeah.
Kids are smart too. I know mine will play the mom versus the dad. Not as much now as they did when they were younger, but when us would say no, they immediately go to the other one and say, "Can I?"
Oh yeah, that never happened.
I always say, "What did your mom say?"
Yeah.
That's what I say. What did your mom say? Maggie, were you one of those wild Catholic girls, high school girls? She said, when I went to Catholic school, the nuns could be sadistic.
We had an ex-nun that was a social studies teacher, and we're sitting there. I forgot. I think it was like 6th or 7th grade, and one of the kids kept talking, and then he kept laughing, and then he was throwing papers, and she got so angry that she went over and grabbed the book off her desk. And social studies books are really thick. And she went over and cracked him on the top of the head with it. And we just sat there and we were just like, oh my God. And he didn't go to the principal's office or anything. He just sat there in that chair. But if you do something like that today,
you got sent to the school, the office, and you got a paddling when I was like in middle school or junior high and elementary school. They'd already kind of phased that out by the time I got into high school. But your ass got smacked. Yeah, Maggie, I bet you were a little rounder. I bet you were the ones that are smoking in the daggum bathrooms, wearing your that floozy makeup and making those nuns mad as hell. And
With her little Catholic uniform on.
yeah, I can see her with a little Catholic outfit.
When I started high school, you could be 16 and legally smoke. So you could get a student ID that was a student smoker ID. So you could go into the smoking area for the students.
No, we weren't allowed to. We
didn't have any of that kind of.
Yeah, and they call it the student smoking lounge. It wasn't a lounge. It was outside. You were like standing in this like walled-in area. Because then in the winter they'd have a burn barrel going out there. It looked like a bunch of hobos standing out there.
Oh Lord, you didn't have no permit. You could just smoke, but we had a smoking area that was out by the trash cans, by the dumpsters. That's where you went to smoke.
Now they had a hall monitor, and he would watch the door to make sure. And your student ID, it was a little bit different. It was a student smoking ID that you used. Then you could go out there and smoke.
Nice.
Yeah. Then they changed it when I was going to be a junior, and you had to be. I think when you had to be 18 to smoke, they made the high school tobacco free.
Yeah.
I went to a private school. We didn't have to worry about any of that.
The girls in high school would go into the bathroom and smoke because we weren't allowed to. And they would always say, Deb, you have a cigarette. And I'd say, no, I'll get in trouble. No, you won't get in trouble. None of the teachers come in here. They don't even know we do it.
Oh, yeah.
They kept bothering me.
Trust me.
So for like 2 weeks, they kept going at me like, here, try the cigarette. And so finally I go to try the cigarette, and a teacher walks in, and I'm the one that gets grounded.
And then your father had to be called.
Oh my God, I got in so much trouble when I got home.
We a buddy of mine went to a Catholic school, elementary, junior high, and high school up in New York. And he said those nuns when he was young were vicious, and then when it was an all boys high school, and there were only a few female teachers at the high school. He said those priests would burn you up with a daggum paddle.
Yeah.
My dad went to a Catholic high school. I only went to a Catholic grade school. But they had priests and what were called brothers, which I guess maybe priests in training or whatever.
Yeah.
And he says, yeah, when you got in high school, he said they'd beat the daylights out of you. Those guys, they were actually worse than the nuns.
Yeah, and the reason I know about the brothers and the being priests in training is after my first marriage ended, I had a male roommate, and John was Catholic. And we were only like 21, 22 at the time. And the oratory, which was the Catholic church in Rock Hill, was right up the road. We could walk to it. So I've got earbuds in. I'm like, what the hell is that noise? And anyway, somebody's background noise. But anyway, he would stop by to visit the two sinners, as he called us. Mm-hmm. And he'd come in and sit down, and he'd start talking, and then he'd start going, I got a little bit of dry throat. Y'all got anything to drink? And we're like, well, we got some pop, and we got some sweet iced tea. He says, you got anything more grown up than that? Well, we got some cold beer. And he's like, oh, that'll work.
Oh boy.
So about once a week, he would stop by to check on us to see how we were doing. And we'd always have to make sure he had a cold Schlitz in the refrigerator.
Oh my God, Schlitz.
So what, he came for a beer and a hot dog on Friday during Lent?
It'd have to be a kosher hot dog, right?
But he's also the one, the first time I went to church with John, we went to 1 o'clock mass because we could sleep in late. he told one of the priests who looked like he was 100 years old. He said, Tom's a Baptist. He's visiting with us today. And the priest looked at me and he said, don't get any of that on you. It'll burn you. And it was, the thing with holy water in it.
Yeah, but it was probably a nice short mass for you, Tom, because don't you Baptists go to church for like 4 or 5 hours?
Oh, no.
What do you mean, no?
No. Church starts at 11 and ends.
It's like 3 hours later.
Okay. Sunday school started at 10. It ended about 10. It ended about 10:50. Preaching started at 11, and by 12 o'clock, by 12:05, we're walking out the door because it's lunchtime. We were not one of those that has the 4-hour services.
Catholic, 45 minutes, you're out.
Yeah.
Yep. And you get some wine too.
But you stand up and sit down like 90 times during the service.
I know, and these old ladies and old men that are 120 years old, they just keep standing up and sitting down or kneeling on that damn.
When you all go to church, don't you like start jumping around and speaking in tongues and stuff?
Not my church.
Oh.
That's the Pentecost.
I don't know how to speak in tongues, so we don't know how to do
I
that.
thought you ran around the pews with a handful of snakes.
No, that's other denominations. I was raised a good Southern Baptist. We did not do that.
That's the Northern Baptists that do that.
Yes, and that's getting into Pentecostal too. The Pentecostal are big into being moved by the Lord and doing the shouting and running and jumping pews and stuff like that.
Between a Methodist and a Baptist.
Methodists are closer to Catholic, but processes and everything in the service, they're closer to Catholic. I grew up Methodist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was Methodist too.
There are a lot of recitation or whatever the word would be, reciting stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
we go to. I don't go to a formal Baptist, Southern Baptist church. Ours is more. I don't know. Not New Age. What's the right word for the?
Like those Christian churches?
Well, no, it's not. It's not like a non-denominational, but some Baptist churches you go in there and you don't get music. It's not really. It's like organ and just singing. We've got like a band that plays and all that.
Right.
More. I hate to use the word New Age, but whatever you want to call it.
It's a modern.
Not just contemporary is the right word.
Yeah, contemporary. That's a good.
I couldn't think of that word.
But the Pentecostal, the Church of God, Nazarene, Holiness, that kind of, they're the ones that do the shouting and the running and jumping.
Yeah, I don't like the shouting. And
That kind of. I was about 16 years old when the first time I went to church. We visited at a. I forgot what it was, but it was a Pentecostal church, and they started shouting and jumping and running around the church. And I was sitting with the youth down with my younger brother down on a like third row back from the front of the church. And I got up and I walked back there, sat beside my mommy because I was scared.
It's overwhelming for somebody that's never been around it.
Yeah,
I had a friend that grew up maybe not to that level, but there were some level of Pentecostal, and I went with him a couple of times. It was different.
And I'm not saying anything bad about it, because you're in church and you're worshiping. That's good. That's all that matters. It's just when you're not raised to it, it's kind of
right
freaky.
Just like we were talking about everybody's accents.
Yeah,
same kind of thing.
We love Tara even though she talks funny.
I don't talk funny.
She doesn't.
I will say though, like I'm talking to you and Craig, you all can understand me, but
Yeah.
not as much now. But like when I first was coming down here, sometimes these people in Kentucky here, they'd look at me like I was talking in French or something. They'd be like, I don't understand a word you're saying. I'd be like, oh, good Lord. Because I've talked to like Dusty, other people from the South, Scott, I'm like, well, they all can understand me. I mean, and sometimes you'd be like, I can't understand a word you're saying. I'd be like, oh, good grief. But anyway.
As long as you don't say the state Wisconsin, then we're in good shape.
That's right.
That's the only one. No.
You know, Carol, bless her heart, she opens her mouth and you know she's not from around here. That's right, Maggie. Save your soul and get your cardio at the same time.
You know what helps down here?
What's that?
You know, sometimes they can't understand you, but if you wear your NRA or Trump hat, they can understand every word you say.
Lord have mercy.
Thanks be to God.
I think we've talked about it before, but there's a comedian who's talking about he had been on the road and working really hard to get his career going in the comedy routine, and he really had not. He said he was raised a good Catholic, and he was in church all the whole time, even up as a teenager. He was in church every time the doors were opened, because they had always had youth programs and stuff like that going on. And he said he went to church with his mom. He was visiting with her, and she said let's go to mass. So he went to mass with her, and he said he's like, why don't they send out memos about when they're going to change the catechism?
Yeah.
And what Deb just said, I said, have mercy. And she said,
Thanks
glory.
be to God.
Yeah. Well, it used to be something else. The response was something else.
Yeah, it's your three. When you say the Lord's have mercy, but the last Lord has mercy has a little bit of a different response.
And so he said he's standing there with his wife, and the priest says whatever, and he says because he said I was raised a good Christian boy, and he said, and I said the old response to it, and he said it just like everybody in that church turned and looked at me like, who the hell's the heathen?
We changed that 10 years ago. Where you been?
That's right. And that's basically what he said. And he said, I was so embarrassed. He said, I've never been that embarrassed.
Well, they moved away from Latin in Vatican II, so he might have missed that.
Yeah.
What's how long it's been since he's been to a mass?
I would go because I was brought up Catholic. I went to Catholic school, but it was a little bit more after Vatican II, so it was more modernized. But then
Right.
I would go up north in northern Wisconsin to go on vacation, and I'd have to go to church up there. And they still had the altar boys with the plates that they would put underneath your chin, or so that when they would give you the host right on your tongue, they were still doing that at St. Mary's and Stainer. Because when I first went there, I'm like, what in the heck is this? This is not how we do it, because I never saw it before.
Right.
They're real old fashioned up there at St. Mary's, and they did not change it. They stayed old fashioned as long as they
It was
could.
when I went to Catholic school until about 5th grade. I mean, you were taught if you touched the host with anything but your tongue, it was a mortal sin.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was know that, and I'm not even Catholic.
Old fashioned. Old fashioned. Does that mean you drink old fashions while you're in mass, or what?
I was started watching this thing on Netflix. It's called The Borgias, and I thought all this was made up. A pope that was married and had like 5 kids and all this kind of stuff before he became pope. And then I was we were watching something on TV about the kings of England, and apparently the King of England and Borgia had a big knockdown drag out while the King of England was still Catholic. And I'm like, oh my God. That show's really true.
I watched the last Czars is like a little mini series thing on Netflix, and actually it was really good.
The what?
It's called The Last of Czars. It's about
Oh.
Tsar Nicholas and his family that got killed.
Yeah.
They have like a little mini series type thing on Netflix about it. Actually, it was pretty good.
And going back to it's not sinful for a priest to be with a woman, but the reason the church early on, they didn't want the original church, the Catholic Church, didn't want priests to marry, because what happens is you begin to split assets. you'd have a spouse. I mean, this way, when they have total control, I mean, when the priest dies, there's nothing. There's
Right.
there's no wife, there's no children or whatever who are going to be looking for a inheritance or anything like that. So that was really why they did that. And I don't think it really wasn't about sin. You know, that the Catholic thinks it's a sin for a priest to be with a woman. It was more, I think it was more the church worried about how assets were going to be split up.
Well, the Archbishop of Canterbury's married and got like 4 kids.
Yeah, I think Catholics are the only ones that can't marry, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is sort of, I mean,
But that's what it goes back to, is that it's property.
yeah.
My brother said,
The deacons can.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is hard to get people to go into the priesthood when, you know, you're supposed to take this vow of celibacy and not be married. I mean, that's pretty tough
Commitment.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the thing about I just said about the Archbishop of Canterbury. My brother goes, "Where the hell do you learn this stuff from?" I said, "From watching Netflix and YouTube."
There were 2 popes from the Borgia family.
Yeah, his son was the second one.
Pope Alexandria or something like that.
I keep thinking that of Victor Borgia. Remember they used to run those late night TV ads for the Victor Borgia?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
he was a piano playing comedian.
He was drunk. He did the drunk thing all the time.
Yeah. Good times, good memories.
You know, like in the 80s, they'd run those. If you were staying up late watching TV, they'd run those Victor Borgia commercials over and over.
Yeah.
You know, they got where I said I remember at midnight, all TV channels went off the air, and they ended with the flag waving and the Star Spangled Banner.
Yep.
At the beep with the bars and everything.
Right, and then it got to the point where they were staying online all the time. But from midnight to like 6 a.m. was nothing but daggum infomercials.
Oh yeah.
Except one channel, it played from midnight to like 4 to 5 in the morning. They played old B horror movies, monster movies, and stuff like that.
Chiller.
Killer tomatoes.
That woman that ate too much, and the man with 3 heads and stuff like that.
Good woman.
Yeah,
Attack of the Swamp Creature.
I loved all those movies. Loved them.
I was thinking about those old commercials. Remember Zamfir with the pan flute pipes?
Yeah, I do.
He's that guy. He'd have those
Yeah.
pipes or whatever, and he'd play all his songs. His name
Oh
was
yeah,
Zamfir. He had those stupid pan pipes. I'd be sitting there watching, like, who in the hell is buying this stuff?
at our flea market that we have near here, there's usually a guy out there selling those tapes, and he's playing this pan flute or whatever they're called.
I did see that up in Wisconsin. I did see that.
At Artorama. They would come
He
from
was
like,
in the circle at the flea market a couple, because you'd be walking through there like, what the hell is this? It sounds like you're walking past a tiki hut in Disney World. And it's this guy
wasn't he
playing
like
the
from
flute.
Brazil or something?
Something, yeah.
Or Central America? They used
They
to
have-
have guys come to Artorama, they'd play the plaid flute, and then they'd sell a pack of sweaters. And I think they're from Brazil. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
There was their 2 things, the pan flute music and alpaca sweaters.
Yeah, they're smoking those 6-paper cigarettes.
Yeah,
Who got a bunch of those alpaca sweaters with those stupid llamas on them and
Yeah, I
stuff?
like them.
now if y'all haven't gathered, I'm a fan of South Park, and I've learned a lot from South Park. I've learned about the story of the Mormons, and I've learned about the Scientologists, and a couple of other things. But they have this one episode about the pan flute players. They're everywhere, and it's to keep the giant hamsters away.
That Isaac Hayes chef quit the show because of the Scientology thing.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched?
He said, if you guys do this, I'm going to quit. and he quit.
Have
They-
you ever
they
watched
refused not to
that?
do it.
The same people that do South Park, they did that Team America World Police Tom.
No, I haven't ever seen that.
Oh, you should
Oh, you
watch it.
should. It's a very dirty marionette movie.
Oh my god. It was when me and Jim first started seeing each other, it was the first movie we went to together. And he kind of like looked at me like, it's a puppet movie? Like, because it's like the Thunderbirds. It's a spoof on the Thunderbirds. I laughed at the beginning of that movie till
Oh yeah,
my eyes were watering laughing.
Did
I
you
mean,
say Team America?
Team America.
Okay.
The
Hey, I like the Thunderbirds.
Thunderbirds.
Yeah, this would be like the Thunderbirds with nipples.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I watched Thunderbirds. I watched Stingray. I watched Supercar. I watched.
There's cats.
there's a cat in it, that black cat.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Was it just one? I thought it was a bunch of cats tearing up.
I think it's just one. It's supposed to be like a Black Panther.
Yeah,
but
they
it's just
throw him in a
black
room.
cat.
He throws him to this big panther or whatever to be eaten. Once this marionette, they must put like meat in it, and this house cat is like attacking.
It's
it.
a black house.
It's a black
cat.
house cat, but it's like ginormous compared to the puppet. Pretty funny.
Oh god. They used to have some good stuff on TV. Now it's stupid.
Well, this one you'd really have to edit it to show it on TV.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty.
You'd have to do some pretty good editing to show it on TV. Don't take your kids there. You
I
know?
want,
Don't take your underage kids.
I can tell you, if it was live action and not puppets, it would have been X-rated
wow.
without a doubt. There's no way it could pass on an R.
I think Maggie and Tara and they need to get a couple of other married resellers in there and do the housewives of resellers or something of that sort.
That'd be real exciting, yeah.
Yeah, the Housewives of eBay.
Yeah. What did you do today? Oh, I listed on eBay. What did you do today? Oh,
Well-
I listed on eBay. What did you do today? Oh, I got to go source. Oh, I'm so jealous, you bitch. Anyway.
You'd be watching and be like, oh, good, the Zamfir commercial's coming on. I needed a break.
No, first of all, they would have to get all gussied up and have to have their makeup on all the time and earbobs and all that kind of stuff. Hey, Derek.
There's a show on Netflix, and you probably like it. It's called Dairy Girls. It's like supposed to be in Ireland and that, but it's really funny.
You know, they have some really wild stuff over there.
It's a Channel 4 hat trick production. I think it's the same people that did like Father Ted and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's supposed to be set back when they were still before the when it was still pretty rough with the
Protestants and Catholics.
with the IRA and the Protestants.
Yeah, it's called Dairy Girl, but it's DERRY.
I have a hard time watching foreign movies like that with heavy accents.
Yeah, the Irish got pretty heavy
It's-
accent. Listening to the Irish talk is a lot like listening to the people in the South talk. You understand about every third word.
Watching it, I watched it a second time with Tara, and actually I got more out of it. I thought it was funnier the second time I watched it because I knew what was coming up, so I was better able to understand. It was made it easier for me to understand because they're Gaelic or whatever.
Oh yeah, like when they say vodka, I didn't know what the hell they were saying.
Yeah.
Well, you're putting so much energy towards understanding them, then you got to worry about what they're saying.
Yeah.
You know?
No, there's this thing there where she's saying vodka. They're gonna blow up this suitcase. They're underage girls. It's filled with vodka. But they don't want to say it's theirs. But she's saying the word vodka. I'm like, what is she saying? I mean, I couldn't decipher the word.
Yeah.
I needed an interpreter. But it's a funny show.
You know, and they say stuff and do stuff on their broadcast TVs that they would lose their mind if it was said and done over here.
Oh my God, Father Ted was awesome. NASCAR man. I love Father Ted. And Dougal from Father
Dougal is
Ted
on this show.
is in Dairy Girls.
Yeah, it's a new release on Netflix. Which I don't know. I've watched Netflix now. I mean, I look at Netflix. I mean, it's about like that and two other shows that I'd watch.
I tried to watch.
It's getting so bad.
I tried to watch because I like the American version of Shameless. I tried to watch the English version, but they have that thick Cockney accent. I mean, I couldn't understand them.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Faulty Towers, Rump Stomp.
I watch more YouTube than I do TV.
I
Yeah.
do too.
I've gotten to that point too. But I will watch some Netflix.
Well, I watch Netflix, but yeah, YouTube is what I watch more of it. And you know, I hate this this algorithm, you know, because you've watched this, they start throwing this stuff up in your suggestions, and I've never watched some of anything that would lead up to some of the suggestions they have.
Sure. That's what everybody said. No.
And
Yeah.
so, but then I have to click on something, and then I fall down a dark hole, you know.
Probably your kids. It's what they watch on YouTube. And
Sure,
comment up in
Tom.
your suggestions.
Maybe you forgot a couple of those shows that you watch.
Tom, why do you never have history in your browser?
I,
Huh?
yeah,
I'm kidding.
I don't watch Netflix on my computer. I did get me a new monitor. I have a brand new monitor. It's a 24-inch monitor.
Nice.
Yeah, you may clear your browser history, but that big computer they got out in the desert that monitors everybody,
Yeah.
that doesn't clear any browser history.
the big eye in the sky sees all.
Don't tell your dirty secrets.
Yeah.
Porn. Oh,
It's 11:37. I think I'm gonna call it a night.
All right.
Okay.
I'm glad y'all came in and hung out with me.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun.
I just like catching up with what's going on with people and talk about whatever BS that comes up.
Yep.
Yeah, it is more of a BS show than anything.
Well, guess what? There's enough shows.
Do that.
Oh, Carol is still in here, and I was using her name in vain, and she's in here. Bargain shopper. Love you, Carol. Night night. She's liable to send the boys up here to see me, or down here to see me.
She'll come herself.
She'll
Yeah.
send Joe Kennedy to knock you off.
Yeah, I'm listening. She says. Thanks, Maggie, for coming in. Hey, Val. I haven't seen you. Have you said?
Well, I see Texas Val floating around in places.
I know, but I didn't see her come in.
Yeah, I think she was here way earlier, like when I was having trouble with the internet.
I saw her somewhere else earlier.
Okay, well, I don't see her anywhere. So I'm sorry, Val. I didn't know that you were in here. Thanks for coming in here. Y'all were the best. I have the best watchers. So y'all have a good night. Thanks for coming in.
Good night, guys.
Night.
night, everybody.
If that thing almost 3 hours, Jesus.
Well, you're long-winded.
We're like Seinfeld.